good evening, everyone. It's the Two Marks back again after our little show last night, just to talk about Leicester, to talk about Ange and Levy, and just general feelings on what's going on at our club at the moment. So, just to introduce everyone, obviously, Mark's with me tonight again, as usual.
Big up,
we've got Jay, the Hotspur Cave, with us. Big up, Jay. Thanks for being here, mate. Ellie's come to have a chat with us as well. Queen Elly Philly2109, she's here with us. Big up as well to Philly2109. He's in here for a chat as well. Big up, Philly.
Thank you very much.
Hope everyone's well. And I think we'll just crack on with it. Is everyone happy with that? And we'll do that. So let's just have a chat about Leicester. First of all, last Sunday. Did anyone expect any different than what happened last weekend when we got beat by Leicester? No.
I'll be honest with you. I thought we were going to win. I actually put in the predictions that Tottenham would win 2-1 because I thought surely this one, surely. You know.
For those that are in the Hotspur Hood group chat, you'll know I said to Saba, Dr. Tottenham is going to strike. I was walking up Bruce Grove Station, as I'm walking and approaching, I just knew, I had a feeling in my stomach something was going to go wrong, man. And we just imploded on ourselves within the space of 5 minutes. But typical Tottenham, what can I say, man?
I actually said that Leicester would win the game. I said that before that. I said that on the Dan Allerton's show. I said that Leicester would win the game because the fact that Spurs had to fly out to Germany and then come back again to play on the weekend. Leicester coming into the game fresh. I fancied Leicester to win the game, and the way that Hoffenheim played Spurs, you could see the way that Hoffenheim just had chance after chance after chance. They just couldn't finish their dinner. Well, Leicester, or any good team that could finish their dinner, we're going to finish off Spurs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Ellie?
The way we lost the match was god awful, and Jamie Vardy pointing to his Premiership win, that sort of rubbed the salt in the wound. But I did predict that we were going to win, but I don't want to predict Spurs are going to lose, but I might as well start predicting we're going to lose and maybe we'll win a match, because this team, they're spent. They're like on their last legs. That you can see they're all knackered, but they're not performing. Sometimes when you're knackered, you can still pull out something special and win the match, but there's nothing being pulled out. The only thing we're losing, and the manner that we're losing, is god awful. It's so bad that I don't even want to watch sometimes. I want to turn my TV off because I'm such a Spurs are in my blood, Spurs are in my heart, like all of you guys.
Yeah.
And I can't just turn the TV off. I've got to have punishment. And it is punishment at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is, Ellie. It's very hard for all Spurs fans at the moment. I think whatever your views are on our club with other things going on.
It's the same way, though. I find it's the same way that Spurs lose every time. It's the same goal, repetitive goal. Because of the way that we play and the way that we're set up, it seems like every game, we could see the same goal. Just one ball over the top or one ball down the side, and we're wide open. And that's every game. And I watched Hoffenheim game, and I'm thinking Hoffenheim really and truly should have won that match early. Should have won that match, but really and truly they just wasted so many opportunities that they didn't finish us off. But Leicester did, and that's what happens in this game.
Yeah.
And just to caveat off that kind of brings me back to what I was saying last season, right? It's all well and good having the spirit and the fight, the passion to fight back from 1-2-0 down, but it's not going to it's not sustainable going behind in games constantly and having to claw your way back into the game. It's not sustainable, man. It really isn't. And we're starting to see it now, even when we go 1-0 up and then we go 2-1 down, the players look lost. They're looking around, heads are down, hands on hips. No one knows what to do anymore. And this is, I can't believe that we're sat here 18 months on saying the same things that we would have been slammed into the ground for saying at the end of those 10 games. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I just don't know anymore. I don't know anymore, man.
Yeah, I'll quote from Mark. Some of them are throwing their dummies on the floor because they've still got their dummies in their mouth. They're just new to football, and this is new to them as well because they're going to be in a relegation dogfight. That's one thing for sure.
Yeah, but Ellie, I'm gonna ask you this. This is what I didn't want. Right, and people got me confused here. I was never against the likes of Archie Gray, and I was never against the likes of Bertha. But playing in a relegation battle is not the experience you want to be having for an 18-year-old. That is something else, and that's exactly what Tottenham have done to these kids. Right, and to throw them in front of the Lions there, which is exactly what Anges did there against Arsenal, was out of order because you could break the man doing that, and that's even before he's begun his career. And I'm sorry, that for me didn't fit well. And that's why I was against bringing youngsters in there and bringing no experience around them that they could learn from.
Yeah, I had nothing against bringing the youngsters in, but I said you need the players that are ready now to come in with them. With them. It's all right signing Archie Gray and Bergvall. Where was the people who are going to go straight in? Because let's face it, if half the squad weren't injured, neither of these two kids would have got a game.
They'd be on loan.
They weren't getting a game, were they?
No, they weren't. Well, they weren't.
And everybody was calling for them to play. Now they're playing. They're saying we need our experience back, which is true because when you're in a relegation dogfight that we are in, two more losses and we're right in it. We're like dire straits in it.
Yeah.
And we're going to rely on 18-year-old kids. Because a lot of our players coming back are going to get injured again. They will. The way the style of play we play, the tactics we play, they're going to pull a hamstring quite easily.
Yeah. Well, if you saw the thumbnail for the show, that's the 1977 team that got relegated.
Yeah.
I stole that off Google.
Team as well. We had individuals in that team.
Yeah.
I can't name one individual that I actually would put my hat on and say, yeah, I love that player.
No, not anymore. No. I mean, you got to remember, 1977, we had Glenn Hoddle, Steve Perriman. That's two absolute legends.
Yeah.
You know, right, we'll just go through the chat quickly. Josh, good evening, sir. Good evening.
Evening, Josh, mate.
Yeah.
Hey,
it is shocking, mate. It is shocking. We're losing.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Just one other question I wanted to ask everyone about the game on Sunday. When Richarlison went off injured, can anyone explain to me? I know Mikey Moore came on and Son came into the middle, but why didn't Lancashire come on before the 94th minute when we're chasing a goal?
You know what I mean? What does that lad think? He's probably his confidence is all gone because my manager doesn't even put me on when we're struggling to win matches. We're in dire straits. We're losing 2-1, and he brings him on at the 94th minute.
Well, we couldn't believe it, could we, Matt? We was watching the game, weren't we? And it was like, well, where is he? 2-1. And the thing is, we were 2-1 down. We were desperate for a goal. Try something different. Just put two up front.
Yeah, but what's he going to do in the last 2 minutes? That's the bit that annoyed me. What exactly is Lancashire going to do in 2 minutes here? He cannot influence the game like that.
He's probably thinking that's what my manager thinks of me.
Yeah.
I'm slogging my guts out. I've been with the club all my life since I was a kid, and I get one opportunity to come and change things, make myself a hero, and he takes it all away from me and he gives me 2 minutes. I'd be slagging my manager off in the dressing room. I say, how dare you? How dare you not play me?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got to sort of wonder whether he's going to ask to leave or not. Because unless you watch the youth games, and I believe he scored a lot of goals for like the youth teams, none of us have really seen him in the Premier League. You know, he comes on for what, two minutes here, 5 minutes there. That's not long enough. And it's like I said against Leicester, surely the amount of Ange must know he's under pressure. He must do. If he's not, then I don't know what to say. But like, you would have thought he'd have put two up front, whatever. Just do something.
I mean,
Do
that's
something.
the game. No disrespect to this one, yeah. But what about the other games? Like we were behind against Ipswich. He doesn't chase the game. He doesn't do the long ball forward. He doesn't do that kind of. It's the same. He'll play the same way, yeah. Whether we're winning, losing, or drawing, he will play the same way because that's all he knows.
Mm-hmm.
When plan B is just more plan A, right? That is all you know, and that's the sadness of Tottenham Hotspurs. And this is what people should have taken on board from the beginning when he said that. That is highly ignorant. I'm sorry, it is. If it doesn't work, I'm going to break it to make it work. Do you know how bad that is?
Mm.
And anyone who hears that and breaks it down, yeah, and listen to some of the words that come in Ange interviews, they're not inspiring at all. If you break them down bit by bit, word by word, yeah, you're actually thinking, you know what, mate, whatever you say, yeah, I'm not listening to it because you just. No wonder players like Madison just said, "I've had enough, mate. I'd rather fake injury than play for you, brother, because you don't change, man. And it doesn't matter if you've got injuries or not. You just sort of play the same way and be wide open. I'm not doing this."
But he's even wide open when he's got his first team there, isn't he? It's not as if I know when Van der Ven's there, sort of his poor old hamstrings, as we've been saying. But when the first team's there, we're still only playing two at the back. So
Exactly.
Mickey might save us a lot of times with his pace, but the kid's getting wrecked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, he's absolutely getting wrecked. I don't know what you think about the injuries and that, and the lack of tactical nous, if you wanna call it that. I just think we're a disaster, mate. I think the manager's a disaster, and it doesn't matter who we play. Listen, we played Tamworth the other week. We was a kick away in the 94th minute from going out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You've got pundits like Jamie Carragher. He's not just a pundit. He played for the greatest football team in England, Liverpool, who've got a winning mentality. And he's calling out Ange, change your tactics. You're playing like a schoolboy. And then you hear Ange saying, I'm not listening to him. Fucking listen to him, you stupid git. He's won things. He comes from a heritage club, Liverpool. And you're so stubborn that you won't even listen to people who are telling you that you're doing it all wrong. Because you're so stubborn, you think you're going to doing it right.
Just on the injuries thing, it wouldn't surprise me if the medical staff are saying no, they're not fit to play, and he's insisting that they come back. Because just to add to what Ellie said, that's exactly what that right there proves to me that it's him rushing these players back and not the medical staff. Because you're right, he's stubborn. He's like a 6-year-old. He has to get his own way. He has to, the media and the journalists have to talk to him how he wants to be spoken to. They have to ask him the questions he wants to answer. No one's allowed to say anything. If you point out the fact that we're 8 points off the drop, it's, oh, what a way to start an interview. Well, it's the truth. It's the truth. Yeah. Look at the table, mate. Look at the table. Look at the table. Look at the results. It's disgusting. The Premier League form is disgusting. And I know everyone will sit there and talk about the cups and how we're still in the cups. But if we have to take Tamworth FC, Tamworth to extra time, what makes anyone think we can do Lazio over 2 legs in Europe?
No.
It's not happening, is
it? It's not happening, is it? It really isn't happening. The thing...
Film, you know that film, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yeah.
That's Spurs.
Yeah.
I'm going to surprise
over is Ange from Australia.
I'm going to surprise you guys here. We haven't played good in the cups either. I'm sorry, we haven't. We got lucky in the cups here. When we played against the likes of AZ Alkmaar, right, they had loads of chances against us. They just didn't have a finisher. When we played against Hoffenheim, yeah, if they could finish their dinner, they would have dispatched of us as well. When we played against Rangers, yeah, Rangers were the unlucky team not to win that game. I thought Rangers were the better team, but they was like they morphed before they got the tunnel blood. And when they got out there, yeah, they gave us one good game, and they should have won that game. Roma should have beaten us in the second leg. Karabakh had loads of chances against Spurs. Benavides had loads of chances against Spurs. This team, yeah.
Even Tamworth did. Even Tamworth did.
Man United, right, if they hadn't shot themselves in the foot in the quarterfinals, yeah, by scoring those, by the goalkeeper doing his mistake in the fourth one, yeah, and the second goal, and even when Foster made mistakes, we were lucky in that game again. Both teams were bad. When we played Man City, we played Man City's B team. We haven't beat anybody good going to into the semi-final. Right, the second leg, yeah, I think that Liverpool are going to give us one good roasting, guy, and I'm here for that. I'm sorry if that is what Ant needs to go, so be it. I'm sorry, I can't watch another bit of his dinosaur tactics anymore. It's limiting and it's numbing my brain now watching this man do his tactics every week. I'm sorry, that's how I feel.
All those European teams who didn't put us away, the Premiership teams, they're putting us away.
Yeah.
Putting us away.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
without
not,
a shadow of a doubt.
It's not like it's been over the sort of last 10 games either, is it? This has been going on since last season.
Yeah, we lost.
You know, for me, Ellie, sorry, for me, he should have been gone after that Chelsea game. I know he weren't going after that straight away, but, you know, the picture's been shown many times. 8 men on the halfway line waiting for the chip over the top.
Mm-hmm.
What is that all about?
It's no Action Jackson, that Chelsea striker. No Action Jackson, yeah. That's what I call him, because really and truly, that man should have scored 7 last season, in that game, because that man was clean through so many times. And if it wasn't for Vicario coming out here and saving Tottenham's blushes, that game could have been a holy block of cricket score. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, wow. Over and over and over again, Chelsea got in, and I'm not even losing that game as the one that was the blueprint. The Sheffield United game, which was earlier in the season than that one, they were 1-0 up, and if it hadn't been for their play acting on the football field, and the extra 10 minutes, then they would have beat Tottenham. But the fact that they did play acting all game and they had 10 minutes extra, they blew their load, and then they basically run out of energy, and then the Pigeons scored. And then we scored a late goal, and that was the end of it. But really and truly, we should have lost that game as well.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable, is it?
No.
You know what I mean? I mean, when do you ever see, when we play a game and we're 2-0 up, the players take their foot off the gas, you know, just simple passes, not running around like headless chickens. You don't see that with our team. With all the top teams, you'll certainly see Liverpool do it. I mean, look what Liverpool done when they come to the lane. They're 5-1 up, and they just passed it about in amongst it. All right, we scored 2 goals, but Liverpool said, "Stuff this. Let's up it for 5 minutes." They got another one, and that's definitely game over.
Yeah.
You know, but we don't do that. This running around a million miles an hour for 100 minutes in every Premier League game, it's not sustainable. I've been saying it since he's been here. It's really not sustainable.
Mistakes though, Mark. When you're playing at that frantic speed here, right? The players are making split-second decisions here at fast speed. So they make mistakes here, and then they give the ball away. And that, because we give the ball away in such bad positions, the opposition are right in on goal, and 9 times out of 10, and this is what I get annoyed with the Spurs, they don't close a man down. They let a man run at them, It's as if they're saying to the guy, come on, shoot. And like against Leicester, the second goal, that's what happens, because you invite the guy to shoot, and then they take advantage of it. And when you see a defender like Ben Davies turn his back, that's the worst thing you can do, because if you turn your back here, you've got such a wide back, it can deflect off your back here, go anywhere into the goal. So therefore, it's bad defending from Ben Davies.
Yeah. I think I've said this. What really gets me is when we do give the ball away, it normally goes back into, say, the middle of the pitch. And one of their midfielders has got like 30, 40, 50 yards to run into. And he's just seems, whether that's coincidence or a fluke, I do not know, but it happens so many times. The ball will break and it will go into the midfield, and one of their players picks it up, and you think, there's no one near him. Someone close him down, for God's sakes. And the next thing, he's bearing down on the back 2, 3, or however many. It's normally only a back 3 anyway, because Porro's normally stuck at the pitch somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, Mark,
like a bunch of 8-year-olds. You know when you watch 8-year-olds play, and they're all going forward, and then they lose the ball, and then they don't really want to run back, but our players have to run back because they're professional footballers, and they can't make it back.
That's
You see Porro when he was trying to run back, and he just didn't have the puff in him because he'd been bobbing up the other side of the pitch. They're completely all out of position as well because they're all inverting and getting out of position, and it's just like one big mess.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Our whole squad looks dead on their feet because they've been overplayed.
Yeah,
That they've been
no
overplayed.
confidence either, Mark.
No confidence, no rest. You know, they're just absolutely shattered. Absolutely shattered, all of them.
Kulu especially.
Yeah.
His strength is carrying the ball. He can't even carry the ball anymore. He just runs out of puff. He's got no legs left.
No.
Doesn't look like anyone's got any legs left, Ellie.
Yeah, but the worst thing is, man, we still got 4 months of the season left.
Yeah.
So if we're running out of steam now, right, I'm afraid we still got till May to come. And if we're getting into cup finals and semi-finals and all that business, which is what my man's saying there, then we're going to be looking at another 10 games at the season. So we're going to be in some serious trouble if we're running out of steam in the beginning of February.
Yeah.
You've got to have structure. You've got to have a defence that's solid, a midfield that's creative, and a midfield that can hold the defence in front of the line. So you've got a number 6 and a number 8 who can defend, and then you've got your creative. Then you've got your strikers, and you've got 2 brilliant wingers. We haven't got any of that because we bought Solanke, who's a one-season wonder at Bournemouth. And before that, he hasn't got no record of scoring. He went to Liverpool, 25 games, scored 1 goal, and we paid 65 million for him. Well, we should have bought Kluivert and Boomo. Yeah, that's the players we should have bought. Oh, I just feel so sad. Our clubs.
Yeah. Jay, what's your thoughts on it, mate? On because I've got the theory of. My theory is on it that at the end of the day, they said they was clearing the so-called deadwood because it was deadwood. So they've got out who they wanted to get out. But to me, Levy's compromised everyone by bringing 4 in. So we've had 15 go out, 4 come in, and the wage bill has been slashed, massively slashed. So should we really have expected any difference than what we're getting now? I know, like we've had the injuries, but we know even when the first team was there, the results were still pretty poor and were at the end of last season as well. So just thoughts on that? Anyone's thoughts?
Well, look at last season, sorry, Jay, I know you're going to talk. Look at last season, Look at January last season, because I'm going to tell you now, Van der Ven was out injured last season. Yeah. Romero was out injured last season, and so was Maddison out injured last season. And last season, the excuse was, oh, Maddison's not fit, so that's why we dropped off. Romero is out injured. Oh, Van der Ven is out injured. We could actually go back this time last season. You can see it right now. If they're injured this time this season, you've got numerically less numbers than you had last season. That's negligent. You go into the season knowing you've had an injury crisis around December last year. So why would you not protect yourself from having the same thing going on? That means you didn't learn from last year as an institution. You did not learn or prepare yourself for having 4 games a week, knowing that you had an injury crisis last season. So where did you learn? Where's the learning curve for you as a club? That's irresponsible. But then to raise the prices as well on top of that is an insult to the fans, and that's the bit that I didn't like whatsoever this season, because I thought, you know what, we're actually worse than last season, but instead of giving Ange time or whatever that he needed, right, you heightened the pressure on the man by raising the prices up, and that's the bit that insulted me as a fan.
Fair dues.
Jay?
No, I agree. I mean, took the words right out of my mouth. We all saw this coming. We knew there was no way any Tottenham fan out there that sat there and said, I never expected us to get hit with an injury crisis. Respectfully, you're where I'm from, the Caribbean, we call you a dunce. You're an idiot. You're a fool, right? You're a silly person, because we all knew Romero can't stay fit for more than 25 games a season. Van der Ven's hamstrings are made of glass. We knew that already. Maddison, even at Leicester, had an injury record. So again, we knew he was going to be injury prone from when we signed him in the summer. Even rival fans, I know a few Leicester fans because I was fortunate enough to play football in Leicester for a little bit. They told me the one thing they hate about Maddison is when he gets injured, whenever he comes back, he doesn't perform. So everyone talks about we dropped off because of these players getting injured. But when they come back, they don't perform. They don't perform. And I was talking to George, big up George. I told him, we're never going to get our players back. We're never getting these players. They're never coming back. Because every time we get one back, two go out injured.
Yeah.
Look at Richarlison. He needs to... Listen, I've got a lot of respect for him as a person. I think he's a cool guy. I've got no hate in my heart for him. But as a footballer, you're not good enough to be at this club. You can't stay fit. He can't stay. He's out again. He's been back for 2 games and he's out again.
I said this.
Sarr and Maddison as well.
I've been saying this for ages. Your best ability is availability. And he's just not available at any time, is he?
No.
You know? I mean, if you're never available, what's the point in you being here?
Do we put that on the manager, though, a lot of it? All these hamstring injuries? Is it the manager? Is it because they're at it?
He was like that under Conte as well, man. He was injured under Conte as well. We come back, then out for a month, then come back for 2 games, then out for 3 weeks. He was like that as well. That's the one player that I don't put his injury record on. But for the rest of them, absolutely. Absolutely. And knows that you can't play like this 3 games a week. It's impossible. And you don't rotate. Fair enough if we had a squad of 30 players like Chelsea, where we could field a whole second 11 in the cups. But we don't have that. Even if we was to field the second 11, you saw how the second team played against Coventry. Look at how we played away against Coventry. We nearly went out of that. We nearly went out in the first round.
Yeah. No.
So you really have to look at these things and realize, if we're fans, whether you're in the stands, whether you're at home on your sofa watching the game, if we can see these things, how can you, as a grown man, a football manager, a so-called winner who wins everywhere he goes, how can you not see these things? How can you not see these things? Because I can see it.
Yep.
Archie Gray looked dead in the 35th minute. He looked absolutely... He was out on his feet. I could see it. I was standing there thinking, I feel sorry for the kid.
I do.
I feel sorry for him. Because everyone says, oh, it's great. But like you said, these aren't the situations you want your young players to be getting experience in.
No.
These aren't, you don't want, when they've come into the club with the expectation of we're going to be challenging to fight to get into Europe. And now we're fighting to stay in the league. Come on.
Ideally, as a young player, like the likes of Archie Gray and Bergvall, when you bring them in, you'd like to drip feed them in. Just bring them in. 10 minutes at the end of a game, 15 minutes at the end of a game, and then as they get into it a bit more, give them a half. Because basically, when they first turned up, they were both frozen out and they couldn't get a minute because we more or less had a full squad. And then they're only called upon when we're desperate. When everyone's injured, in you come. And can you honestly think that Bergvall and Gray are not going to get injured as well at some point? All right, they're probably going to be a lot more hardy than some of the more senior players, because when you're 18, you just do what you like, innit?
The problem, Mark, here is that because they're 18, they're going to make mistakes in games here.
Exactly.
And these mistakes they make here are going to lead to goals. They're going to have good games and they're going to have bad games. And the thing is, like I said earlier, because of the fact that they're playing at 90 miles an hour, I call it the Back to the Future one, 88 miles per hour, I call it here. Right? Because they play at that speed, right? That's why they make mistakes. And because they're young, right? We hope that they learn from these mistakes. They're a learning curve. But I'm looking at them, and I'm thinking, I don't really want you to play under Ange. I watched the Bergvall against Arsenal, and I looked at him and I thought, you were wide open against big men like Partey and Declan Rice. That's not it for you. That's not, and you're tired already. That's not what I want to see for you, mate. But this is Ange, and this is what he does. He threw him to me. He threw him in front of the Lions for me.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
do you know, I was just about to say that they're almost being thrown in with the Lions.
Yeah.
I can only see one shining light out of all the players. I mean, Archie Gray and Bergvall, yeah, but Jed Spence, he's a baller. He is a baller. There was one ball that he did against Arsenal from the outside of his boot. It was sublime. Glenn Hoddle would have been proud of that ball.
Yeah.
Right? And he's been a shining light under all this crap that we've seen.
But he wouldn't have got a chance if it wasn't for the injuries.
I know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't they like a good player at Spurs anymore?
Well, Ancelotti doesn't.
I think we've got a massive problem because we're going allegedly down the youth route, right? And Jay, I don't want to insult your intelligence, but you may well not know about this. You may well do if you've looked back on it when you speak to your granddad. Now, my theory is on it that football changed for kids or, you know, young adults that were trying to get into the first team when the football combination went, which was many, many moons ago. So Ellie will remember the football combination was basically reserve football, reserve team football, and basically it was players coming back from injury, players that were coming up through the ranks, and players that couldn't get into their first teams. But it meant that youngsters were playing not necessarily against 10 quality players on the other side and getting battered, you know, because of their inexperience, but they were playing against men in the reserves. You know, and I think because there's no reserve league as such, I know we've got under 21s and under, is it 23s or is it under 18s and 21s? Yeah, I think that's a big jump. And I think you've got to be quite special to be playing under 21 football and be jumping into squad and match day teams for teams like Tottenham, you know, especially as we're going down that route. Or we seem to be buying youngsters because, as we've seen this season, they're just getting launched into the team. Archie Gray's played half an hour in midfield. Apart from that, he's played everywhere else across the back line. And you was all right when you said the pressure on the kid, the pressure on Bergvall in midfield. You know, I can't fathom it. And sometimes it works out good for kids. You know, they take it all on board. And it works out for him a bit later down the line. And I don't dispute that Archie Gray and Bergvall are talents. They are. But I totally agree with Philly just because of how Ange does things and he doesn't rotate and he's had to put these kids in. And not just, you wouldn't mind if it was for a game or if it was for 2 games. But the injuries have been so bad. They've been launched in there and we've been hammered. And they've been hammered as well as they've done. Do you know what I mean? So it'll either turn them into something special, this little run they're on, I think, or they're just going to go the wrong way. And I just hope they don't go the wrong way because I just feel that Philly was spot on what he said. Sent them to the Lions. Absolutely sent them to the Lions. Especially in the Arsenal game, like you said, Philly. Bergvall got absolutely rinsed. You know, and it's not his fault at the end of the day, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So just before we carry on, I just want to reiterate Sava's message about all the YouTubers trying to get together. For anyone who hasn't heard it, I know we haven't got many in tonight watching, but even if it gets to one person, then that's good. Us YouTubers, we put it out there. It doesn't matter how big or how small you are. We're tiny. We are tiny, but we are behind the campaign to get people together to talk about our club. Because otherwise, we are, as we are seeing now, getting run into the ground. We won't be a football club anymore. We're not that now anyway. I don't believe we are after what Levy's done to us. and all the fans, all the people that have been going there for 50 years, like Philly says. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of older people that have been going for 50 years, and he puts the prices up on them.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. And then he don't invest in the team. It's disgusting.
Took away the senior concessions as well.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
shocking.
Yeah.
Absolutely shocking. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Savile, we're behind you, man. You know that. And I'm sure everyone here is and everyone in the chat is.
Yeah.
And keep up the good work. Everyone, Stel, whoever's involved with it, Brian Daigle, I know he's massive in it. Just keep up the good work, chaps, and we're behind you. We are behind you.
Can I add something to that? And that is this, yeah? Right, to everyone in the chat and everybody at home, this is a marathon and not a sprint. This will take months, this could take years, but this is the start of something big. So please don't rush the process. Please don't bother people and try and push the agenda, because this is a war. This isn't a battle, this is a war. This could take 10 years, this could take 10 minutes. Right? Be prepared that this is a long, hard, grueling fight, and we have to stay on this course. If you want change, and you actually genuinely want change, you got to stand up now. And the people if people in other countries, if you can attack the sponsors, that would help as well. Because what we have to do is we have to make sure that Daniel Levy, if he is to stay, invests in that team, and if he is to go, and I hope he does go, because the way that I've been Levy out since 2018, and the 6 years here since he started Pochettino, I've been Levy out. I refuse to go. I have boycotted my club. I refuse to give that man any money whatsoever. I wouldn't even go toilet in that club, because it's beneath me. I will not go. Right now, people here have to understand that we are coming together for a common goal. It doesn't matter if you leave me out for 10 minutes or 10 years or 15 years or 5 minutes. We need to get together and to try and make this club great again. And that's all I'm asking people. Remember, this is not a marathon. This is a marathon and not a sprint.
Yeah. And the one thing I'd like to add to this is that, in my personal opinion, right, Daniel Levy is not, it's only my opinion, you can shoot me down if you want to, Daniel Levy is not going anywhere because of the monster he's built. You know, that stadium now is raking in that much money. Why would you buy a company and take it? Well, it wasn't on the ground, but we weren't massive like we are. Well, I'm not saying we're massive now, because off the pitch we are massive. He would not take it from the ground, where we had no reach on the outside world, to build it to what he is now, and it's just got to the top of the mountain. He's not going to sell it then. He's going to keep going. He's going to keep going.
Yeah, but what you can do, Mark, here is... It's untenable. You can make his job a living hell.
I was just coming to this bit, Philly. I was just coming to this bit. But if we can get him to change, to put the football first, not stuff the concerts because they're important, but the money that comes in, put the football club first, invest in the team, make us great again. You know, because at the end of the day, that is what this £1 billion stadium was meant to do. And so far, it's been the complete opposite. We're in absolute shambles, and we're going down the toilet, to be honest.
We've gone down the toilet already, Mark. We're just seeing the after effects of it. We went down the toilet years ago, but this is it now. And my heart breaks for people like, when I look at Jay here, I'm so sorry that this is the club I left you with, my brother. Because this is not the club that I thought. The club I thought, was the one ending in 1. That's the club I thought, that Tottenham wins something in the year ending in 1. And this is what I've got to pass on to the younger generation. I'm embarrassed and ashamed that this is the club I've got to pass on to you, man. Because really and truly, in elite sport, you're in it to win it, brother. If you're not in elite sport to win, then you shouldn't be in elite sport altogether.
Well, for me, it's been 18 years of supporting this club. 18 years now.
Yeah.
And this, like, I always say, lads, like, people don't really understand what Tottenham kind of have done for me. The moments, the away days, the Kane last minute header against City, the limbs in the Etihad, you know, the Champions League semi-final and the final, you know what I mean, going to when we beat Madrid at home, all of these things, Chelsea, Arsenal, Dele Alli chipping the keeper, all of these memories, right, have been built up. And all I want, the only thing I want is for my club to just, it's almost like, it feels like my club don't love me. My club don't love us.
Mhm.
They don't love us. And that's all I can ask for. That's
Well,
all I
Jay,
can ask for.
If I could pass on the diving header from Des Walker, in the 91 FA Cup final that won us the trophy, and you seeing the likes of Graham Mabbott, Gary Mabbott walk up the hollow steps here and pick up the trophy, brother, that was something special. I remember that when Gasper took the free kick here and it went top corner against Arsenal and it rolled across the line. I remember that one there. I remember the day where I was here when Jurgen Klinsmann was on the boat, the last inspiring signing that I've ever seen, man. When he walked into that club, everyone knew him as a world champion, as a World Cup winner, brother. And then he comes in the first season, he scores all those goals, and then when we were nearly in relegation, like we are now, he came back in '97 and '98 to bring us back to where we were again. That when I go to see the likes of Les Ferdinand and the likes of David Ginola, when I got to see the likes of Berbatov, that's the inspiring bit of this club. When the darkest days here, right, this club inspires you, man, to get back up again because you got to dare is to do, brother. And that is a strong message to anyone out there. That's what imprinted on people's heart, brother, as a Spurs fan.
Well, there you go. Like this comment said, I just want to add to this. He's spot on. He's spot on. He's absolutely spot on. I've been banging on about this for the last month as well, about how he's trying to erase the history of the football club. I've said it on so many streams. There's a reason why, you know, he hides. There's no, when you walk through the stadium, when you're walking through the concourse, there's no pictures of any of the greats, of any of the trophies and that we've won, you know, the European trophies that we've won, all the heritage of the club. There's none of that. There's none of that. You have to go to a specific section of the stadium to just see a small glass cabinet with all of those things. And there's a reason why he's doing that, because there's a new generation of football fans, whether it's young kids growing up in the UK, whether it's overseas fans that are finding interest in football and choose Tottenham. He's trying to mold how they see success. I call it mind control because that's what it is. He's trying to mold how they see success. He wants them to see success as we've sold out the stadium. He wants them to see success as we've got Travis Scott performing there. He wants them to see success as, oh, well, you know, we've got one, we beat Arsenal in the North London derby, so I guess, you know, everything's all rosy. And that's just not okay. That's not okay. That isn't okay. He's breeding a loser mentality at the club.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, me and Mark, hang on. I pointed the right way, mate. Me and Mark, we're lucky. We saw, like, 81. We saw 82. We saw 84. You know, I mean...
We was there, Jay. We was there.
You were there. You were there. I wasn't.
I was there for the first City game. I was there for Ricky Vilia's goal. Yeah, I was there for the QPR game. I was there for Glenn Hoddle's penalty. And I was there for 84, Tony Parks running around the gaff with a European trophy. They were special nights, mate. And I want young men of your age to see that,
witness this,
to feel what it's all about, because it's all in here, mate. It's all in here, and you never forget.
I've only ever been to one final, and that was '99, the Worthington Cup final. Whatever it was called. Alan Nielsen against Leicester at Wembley. Right, I was there, and the feeling at the old Wembley when the players go up and get the cup, and the jubilation walking down Wembley Way, and like, I've been to games at the old White Hart Lane, you know, where we beat Arsenal, you know, at the old White Hart Lane, and it's just unbelievable feelings. Even sat here in my home, watching it on the TV, and you see Tottenham, like the Champions League run. I'll be honest with you, I don't mind saying this. when Lucas Moura did his madness against Ajax, I cried at the end of that game because I thought, I was however old I would have been, however old I would have been, 48 or something, 48, whatever I was. I thought I'd never see my team in a Champions League final.
You probably won't for a long time yet. Again,
no,
either,
definitely not this year.
And you know what? I cried when we lost it as well. I cried when we lost.
Yeah.
I was expecting us to go all.
We lost because it meant so much to me. Do you know? I don't even care about bragging rights. It's almost like you said. It's in here, and I'm fortunate enough to have seen us win our last trophy. But I can't forget those. I can't forget that. I can never forget that. No way. When you're on your dad's shoulders, in the South Stand, in your dad's shoulders, screaming your heart out, learning the chants for the first time. Like, do you know what I mean? You don't forget these moments. And kids, it's such a shame that kids nowadays are being mind controlled and tricked into believing that these things don't exist. And I know everyone gets onto the Korean fans and the overseas fans coming over and whatnot, but I don't blame them for not understanding the cultures of the club, because Levy's trying to change that. He's trying to change that. So I don't blame them for not understanding the chants. Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you know what, Jay? I actually feel sorry for the Korean fans. No disrespect to them, because I actually look at them, and I think, wouldn't you love to see Heung-min Son, before he retires here, pick up a trophy? Wouldn't that be a lasting memory for you of Heung-min Son winning a trophy?
Yeah.
When you look at Ji-sung Park here, this is what I said to somebody the other day on the track. Ji-sung Park here, right? No one could take away the trophies that he won for Man United, right? And for him, right, he will always be remembered in Korea for winning trophies. Heung-min Son has won nothing with Spurs, and it's so sad that 7 years of his life he's given to this club, and he's got nothing to show for it. And it's the same with Harry Kane, who gave 10 years of his life to win nothing.
10 years this year. We signed him in 2015. It's going to be 10 years.
That's so sad. That's sad, Jay, and that's disgusting for me. And when you look at them, you think, mate, I can understand if you actually wanted him to leave to Liverpool, because at least at Liverpool he'd win a trophy and that's something to show for him. But
that
just
ship
how
has sailed, Philly. That ship has sailed. If he was going to go to Liverpool, he should have gone there 2 years ago. He should have gone there 2 years. Speaking of Liverpool, they're 3-2 down in the first half against PSV, which is crazy. But no.
apparently though, Liverpool have changed, because it doesn't matter to them. They've qualified, so they've got hardly any of their first team playing. Is that right?
Yeah,
I haven't seen the teams.
They've gone for a weaker squad. They've gone for a week. I've got the game up here. I'm trying to watch all the games at the same time. It's throwing me off a little bit. But no, I'm saying that ship has sailed for Sonny. And as much as we can sit here and say, you deserve trophies, if he wanted to, like Kane did, he would have forced his way out. Like Harry did, he would have forced his way out. And even Harry took too long to force his way out. And when I said this, I was on the show with a couple of the boys on Never a Foul, and I said that when Harry Kane wanted to go to Man City, I was urging him to go, and they said, "You're crazy. You're not a Tottenham fan. You don't want to see your team win." I said, "Listen, of course I want to see my team win, but I also understand that on a personal level, Daniel Levy has a habit of ruining players' careers and making them overstay and killing their market value." And in my head at the time, I didn't want things to come to a bitter end. I wanted him to be look at the way he gets ridiculed. He's one of the most disrespected footballers in world football, period. And that's because of Tottenham.
Yeah.
That's not because of him. That's because of Tottenham Hotspur and Daniel Levy.
Yeah, it's because
before a final.
Yeah. It's not because of Tottenham, it's because of Daniel Levy.
Daniel Levy, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when Poch was here, in the season we finished 3rd and 2nd, if Daniel Levy had given Poch just that little bit more, we could have won those leagues easily.
3 more players.
No, agree.
Just 3 more players.
Yeah, that's all we needed, because
but instead of rewarding coming second, Mark here, instead of that, Daniel Levy just step on the next head and we blocked us out for a year without buying any players.
Yeah.
So instead of going forward, when you don't if you stay still or you go If you stay still, you go backwards, and that's exactly what Tottenham did. They went backwards, and this
Brilliant.
year is a snowball effect from that one season that we did not invest at the right time. Yeah, this is a snowball effect. The last 4 years have been wasted years chasing the dragon. But all this, it's just a snowball effect of not investing at the right time. Because if you don't invest, you go backward, and that is exactly what the club did in 2018, and that's the sad bit about Pochettino. And when we're talking about the Champions League final year, that covered the cracks here of not buying a player for that year. Because remember that year we let go of Dembele, but we never replaced him in the midfield. We just had Sissoko and Winks go into that midfield and into that final. But if we had bought a player in that time, right, we might have done something. And that's the sadness of Spurs. You didn't build off getting to the final. You just sat on it.
Yeah. Well, at the time, for Daniel Levy, the Champions League was the holy grail. It's when we were getting in that Champions League and you guaranteed you whatever the money was back then, your 40 mil, 50 mil. I know we earned a lot when we got to the final that year, but we were making the top 4, which was the Champions League money. Well, it's not as crazy as money is now, but that is what Daniel Levy craved, because it's about the money. It's about the money. And the year that Leicester won the league, when we should have finished second, but we had a capitulation against Newcastle, and some other team beat us to
the Battle of the Bridge.
Well, the Battle of the Bridge killed us, but then we capitulated against Newcastle, didn't we? We lost 5. And we lost 5. Well, and they make second spot.
But Mark, don't you think that I'm going to go back to that season? Yeah, you just said that when we come third year, we came third year because we ran out of steam, because the squad itself was stretched to its limit. So the squad itself got tired, and we had no alternatives on the bench, because the bench itself wasn't that strong that year.
No,
right? So we've never had a squad. That's the problem with people. We've never had strength in depth at the wrong moment, and it's even in the documentary All or Nothing when Mourinho had injuries here with Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. We've never had a proper squad going into the season.
No.
So this is why it catches up with you in the end. That year, we ran out of steam. We were going down towards the end of that season, and it happened in the season when we come second as well. So that's what I'm saying. A few players in that season when we came second, we could easily have gone first, but we didn't invest.
Well,
no.
If you go back to that season, we had the best starting 11 in the country.
Yeah.
We had the Belgian barrier at the back, Jan and Toby. We had Rose and Walker as the fullbacks. We had Musa and Wanyama in the middle. And then you had Dele, Eriksson, Son and Kane up the top. No squad, no first 11 in the country could touch us at that particular time. Teams were frightened to play us. Teams did not want to play us. Right? But the thing is, when one of them was out, we had the likes of Eric Dyer. Was it Winks? Winks was another one lurking about there. And we had like a few other scrubs on the bench. If he'd give Poch just 2 or 3 players, and we're not talking about the crazy money it is now, 3 £25 million signings, we could have won them leagues.
Quality
easily.
Players, Mark, isn't it? Not even top notch, just quality players that came into the squad, that improved the squad, boosted the squad, gave the squad a good boost to carry on doing what they were doing. But as usual, Mr. Levy went 518 days, I believe.
Was indeed. And that summer, was the summer of Grealish, by the way. The summer that we didn't buy anybody was the summer of Jack Grealish, when Daniel Levy basically had Aston Villa on their stomach, basically like a snake, and every time he kept lowering the fee. First of all, they wanted was it 60 million? Then they wanted 10 million, and at the end of the day, they even offered it 6 million, and that still wasn't good for Levy, because Levy wanted to screw them out of the deal. And when Perslow took over, the first thing he did was tell Levy to go do one, and then from that moment, Aston Villa got promoted. Right, and they sold Jack Grealish for £100 million. They reinvested in the likes of Liam Bailey, and now you see Aston Villa the way they are now. In the space of 5 years, they've gone past Tottenham, who are in the Champions League final, and they were in the Championship. Now, if that isn't a stoker of business here, then you can tell me nothing, brother. Because look how they went from there to up there, and Tottenham are down there. How is that possible?
It's just madness, man. It's just madness, absolute madness. One question I did want to ask all of you was that obviously at some stage, unless results dramatically improve, which I think none of us can see, does another manager that can come in, well, the question should be really is he keeping hold of Ange, one, because of the transfer window, so he doesn't have to spend anything, or two, another, unless you can give me another reason, has he burnt his bridges with possible managers of quality that could come in, or up and coming managers like an Iriola, like a Thomas Frank?
No,
You know,
I think he has. I think he has. I think he's almost trying to save face, and I'll say this before I head out, boys. Right? Yeah, he's trying to save face. He's embarrassed himself by sacking Jose before a final, sacking Conte, sacking Poch, sacking Nuno, and now all of these managers, probably barring Poch, have gone on to be successful managers. So I think now he's almost like, do I sack him? If I sack him now, he's a bit confused. And also, I also believe that there's a bit of wanting to give Ange a chance. I do believe that the club want to stick with Ange, but they don't want to back Ange. So, like I always say, you can't tell a man to build a house and not give him any tools. So, yeah, I just believe that it's a bit of both. I think it's Levy trying to protect his own skin, but I also think it's part of him thinking that maybe Ange can turn it around. I mean, I don't think he can. I don't think any of us do either, but, you know, it is what it is, man. We're here, man.
Well, something's got to change, chaps, isn't it?
Yeah. And do you know what I honestly think? I honestly think that Daniel knows if he sacks him, he's gonna have 40,000 people at the stadium pointing at the West Stand and pointing at him. You know, because in my opinion, any manager that's with us, it doesn't matter. Well, unless Conte wasn't, but any manager really that comes to Tottenham is just a protective shield against Daniel. He layers people, doesn't he? As like protection for him.
Yeah, it's like shields in a Batmobile, my friend. He's got more shields in a Batmobile, my friend. Every time another layer goes up, Mun, Lange, they're all shields for Daniel Levy. But what I was going to say here is there is no plan at Tottenham Hotspurs. I don't think there's a plan for life after Ange. I don't think he's even contemplated life after Ange. And Iriola has got a release clause. I don't trust Daniel Levy to want to put the money towards a release clause. So I wipe Iriola straight out of my mind. Big up, Jay, man.
Cheers, Jay, man. Thanks for coming on, Jay.
Thanks for coming on, mate.
Please sub to Jay. Please sub to Jay.
Yeah, make sure everyone subscribes to the Hot Jay at the Hotspur Cave, please, because we'll be doing plenty of shows together. So, you know, we're going to get it on. Jay, thank you very much, mate.
Together, me and you as well, man. One time,
no worries, man. Anytime, boys. Anytime. We'll speak soon, man.
Yeah, we will. We'll be in touch,
Cheers,
mate.
Jay.
Thanks, Jay. See you soon, mate.
Jay.
Thank you. Big up, Jay. Shall we move on to? Go on,
Phil.
Sorry,
mate. Let me just finish my point. Yeah. I don't think there's a plan at Tottenham Hotspurs. I don't think there's plan for life after Ange. I don't think there's plan for any signings coming in. I think we'll get signings coming in the last few days. We will sign players in the last few days. I just don't rate the players that are going to come in. I think there's going to be some caveat behind them. I think they're going to be Werner level hit and miss players coming in, because any good player is not going to be looking at a relegation battle thinking that's going to be good for me to go join Tottenham. And no good manager is going to be looked to coming in. There's a reason that. Look, you should mention the 518 days. There's another world record that come out from Daniel Levy, and it's 72 days without a manager. Now, if it takes 72 days to hire a manager, right, that is in the Guinness Book of Records as one of the longest searches for a manager, right? Which means that the club is blacklisted in the eyes of managers and players as well. They look at the club and they think, you know what, is it worth my chance going there, knowing that I'm going to be a scapegoat when things go wrong and thrown in front of the lines for Daniel to save face. And that is the fear of managers coming in. That's what I look at.
Yeah, that's quite correct, I think.
Yeah, that's a fair comment, mate.
I mean, the thing is, over the thing is, even with transfers, the thing is, like, if you're doing business with somebody, you know, there's always, like, he wants something, I offer something, and then you meet somewhere in the middle, and so you both think you've had a good deal, and you move on.
Mhm.
You know, if it's like, it's not, apart from going in the shop where you just pay the money anyway. But like, if you're buying something off somebody, you know, say you were selling me your car, you
Mhm.
want $2,000. I'd come in and say, you know, I'll give you 1,400. We'd probably meet somewhere about 70, you
Mhm.
know, and then you've got the money you wanted anyway. And I think, well, I knocked him down 300 quid, you know?
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
Daniel's not like that. Whenever, no, I don't know this for certain, but this is what you heard. This is what I've heard. That whenever Daniel does a deal, it's like a war.
Mhm.
It's got to be a winner and a loser.
Yeah.
That's
And
the one.
Daniel's always got to be the winner. And he has burnt, allegedly, this is only allegedly, he's burnt that many bridges. I
Mhm.
bet there's some clubs that won't even, when they see Daniel flash up on their phone, they just hang up.
Yes, Southampton said that. Southampton said after Højbjerg, they said that they don't want to do business with us. Inter
Yeah.
Milan, yeah, after the Ericsson, you watch the documentary, you see the Ericsson move go through, yeah. The Inter Milan turned around and said, yeah, we don't want to do business with Tottenham again. You know? I know we went for Skriniar, but they said that we didn't want to do business with you. Tottenham tried to knock them down £10 million for Skriniar, and they said, get out of here. We want, if you're not paying his release clause here, then we're not interested. And that's why the Skriniar move broke down. But they don't want to do business with Tottenham because what Daniel Levy has done over the years is cut off his nose to spite his face.
Yeah.
And that's the sadness of having to be a winner and a loser in the transfer market. There is no winner and loser in the transfer market.
No.
You've got to meet halfway at least. And you've got to take, and if a player doesn't work out, you've got to be prepared to take the loss. You're not going to win in every transfer battle. It's going to be winners and losers in every transfer battle. And if you keep a player at the behest of the football team, what happens is that player then becomes a thorn in the manager's side, and then that regime under the manager becomes untenable. And that's sadly was what happened when you look at the likes of Mourinho because of the Dele Alli situation. That did not help his situation when the club itself chose Dele Alli over Jose Mourinho. Right, and the other one was Pochettino as well. There was moments in there where he didn't have full control of it, and he said, "Yeah, I was more of a coach than a manager."
Yeah. Yeah, well, Ange definitely ain't a coach, is he, Philly?
No, it's not.
Come on, man. He's a delegator, isn't he? And then he's delegating to people that are crap that couldn't even do it in the Scottish League. Come on,
Well,
man.
mate, when I look at Ange, I think he'd get more out of a dummy at Madame Tussauds here than he would have Ange, mate. On the touchlines, definitely. Because I'm looking at Ange and I'm thinking, you stand there with your hands in your pockets like a cone, yeah. That's not what I want to see, brother. Not if you've got a young aspiring player, yeah, and they need that kind of influence to help them forward in matches, especially in the relegation battle. Because that's where we are right now. You need that guiding force behind you, and you can't see a manager standing there and just. That's not it, man.
No, I think you're exactly. I think you're spot on, Philly. You know, I've never seen anyone just stand there like he does. You know, and it's like I've said to Mark before. You know, when there's been a break in play, normally you'll see the opposing players go over to the manager as if to say, "Boss, you got anything you want me to do?" Blah 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 blah. Or he'll give his instructions. Our players don't do that.
No.
They don't go to him. They go to Mason, or is it Matt Wells, the other fella? You know, whoever the other fella is and Jedinak, they don't go to Ange. He doesn't say anything to them. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand it. To me, he's not, he might be a manager of the club, but he's not coaching players for me.
No.
Because I know, just by the players that are there, and don't get me wrong, world class, no. But we have got some decent players. And I know in a different system, right, that this team, I won't say cook because that's the wrong word, but we'll be up there in the European places, whether it's fourth or fifth or sixth or seventh, whatever it is, we'll get back to where that level. Because this manager is so poor, and I'm not going to swear. No, man, I'm not going to swear. He's so poor and crap and delusional and inept and no in-game management. You know, how many things that we're all seeing, that everyone's seeing, why is no one else seeing it? Why is Levy not seeing it? Because, like you said, Philly, it's negligence at the end of the day, isn't it?
It is. It's inept. It's inept from top to bottom. And when I look at it now, yeah, right, I'm actually going to say I'm an Ange in. You know why? Because the more longer Ange stays in there, it just shows me and highlights to me how low Daniel Levy looks at the football club. Because to me, yeah, the football club, like you said earlier, Mark, yeah, is like, it's just another revenue stream going into that football club. They would have no interest in that football club. If the football club was to fold tomorrow, yeah, they couldn't care less.
No.
And that's the truth of the matter is that you've got so many other revenue streams pouring in from that stadium, yeah, because it is a cash cow. Mark, you're spot on. It is a cash cow, bro. And the fact that there's money rolling in from other avenues means that Daniel Levy gets paid whether Spurs win, lose, or draw. It's irrelevant to him now whether the team continues or not.
Yeah, I agree with you, Philly, and that's why we've got to keep pushing about, you know, trying to get something sorted out to at least. To at least, I don't know what the right word is, to show him that there are fans out there that think he's doing a shit job. Because he's been doing a shit job all the time he's been. You know, he can go on about the stadium. He built the stadium. He's built hotels. He's built this. He's built that. He's done whatever for the community. Listen, that's all great. Well done, Mr. Levy. Let me just say that. Well done. As far as my football team's concerned, mate, and these two men on here, you are cack.
Yeah. You've only got to look
back, Mr. Levy.
You've only got to look back to when he turned up. When he come in 20 years ago, whatever it was, 25 years ago, 2000, wasn't it? He come in?
Yeah, 2001, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2001. Something like that. But when he came in, his first interview, I don't know, from Enoch, it was probably him. He said, we at Enoch see a chance to make money. A chance to make money. There was nothing mentioned about we want to make Tottenham great again. None of that. It was, we see a chance to make money. And that's all he's interested in. That stadium, now I've not been many times, but I've been a few times. That money basically is a license to print money. It truly is. It truly is. You can't even pay anything with cash in there. It's all bing, bing, bing on your phone, and so they can get you served and get you gone, so they ain't got to sort the change out. You know, that's all it is. It's a license to print money, that stadium. It truly is, and that's all he's interested in is the money. The money at the behest of the football team.
So, do you think this is the only way that, in your opinion, Philly, as a fan, I know you come on the YouTubes, but you haven't got your own YouTube. But is it your opinion? This is the best way to go. How we're trying to deal with it now? Get everyone together. See who's really Levy out.
Mate, social media is one of the most powerful things in the world, and I've said this to my brother from another mother, Tabba, and he knows he has my love and support everywhere where he goes. Yeah. Right now, I'm going to say this to you. Social media is the most powerful thing in the world. It unites all of us from England to America to Korea to Australia. We're all linked together. We're all Spurs fans at the end of the day, right? Yeah. And if we can help each other and if we can unite and we can form one voice, and if that voice can be heard, then maybe we can do something. It's better than doing nothing.
Yeah.
All right, because at the moment in time, we're doing nothing. We have to unite and we have to say as one, enough is enough. You have bleeded this club to death from 2001. We've watched this team. Yes, we have got to semi-finals. And yes, before people say, oh, you don't give Levy his props. Yes, I give him his props. He put us in a position. But when we needed to cross the line and we needed to go again, he has never done it. He's never given the manager the support they needed to get over the line and to get us successful as a football team. We get to a certain point, we get to semi-finals and we get to finals. But when have we ever been like Liverpool, where you've given us the extra bits to go over the line? You've never ever done that, and that's not good enough.
Comparing us to Liverpool is good. it is a good comparison because can you remember when we beat them 4-1 at Wembley?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we tore them to bits. The first thing they did, more or less straight away after that game, they bought Van Dijk, they bought Alisson, they sorted their problems out, and they've gone from, even when we played them in the Champions League final, they weren't the team that they are now. They still had deficiencies, and if we had, well, to be honest, we were unlucky. We all know about Sissoko's like armpit and all that stuff, but like we could have easily won that Champions League final easily. But
Yeah.
Daniel wouldn't push the boat out. He would not push the boat out to get his glory. All Daniel does, or he tries to do, is failing badly this season. He gives it enough to keep us relevant. Keep us relevant. Keep us up round 4th, 5th, Champions League, Europa at the worst. But he will never go that extra bit to win us a trophy.
But
To win
surely,
us a
if you
league.
invest in something, whether it like Philly said earlier, a business, right? It's his business, and I understand he wants to make money for him and everyone else that's involved with it, right? I get that. It's just normal that everyone wants to make money, right? But I can't understand why he wouldn't want to make Tottenham great, because not by just winning a Carling Cup, but like in the years we were talking about before when we were behind Chelsea and Leicester, we were that close. Now, surely, if you're winning the Premier League, your name is going all around the world. Like Philly said with social media, Jesus, Spurs won the Premier League this year.
Yeah.
The stadium was being done or was finished. We was fucking banging, whatever it was. And I just don't, put the club out there. Yeah, it's going to cost you a few quid, but you're going to get so much more back. And he doesn't. Like you say, he always just done enough. Always just does enough. And, just to keep us floating by, and then hope a coach does come in that actually knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because-
But the thing is, to actually get to that point where we might win a league, or we might win a Champions League, or we might win the biggest prizes, it's like this comment, where was it? It's this one here. He won't speculate to accumulate.
Yeah.
Because to get us to that stage where we might win the league, he's got to invest a lot of money in the team. And that's a risk. And that is a risk.
Yeah, but Mark, the thing is, if Spurs were successful, and we actually did win trophies, and we did win Champions League, that would strengthen Daniel Levy's negotiation skills with regarding sponsors, because more sponsors would be looking to come in and put in more money because they see an end product at the end of the rainbow. The way that we are now, there is nothing for them to invest in other than buildings and infrastructure, because there is no end product at Tottenham Hotspurs. West Ham haven't had end product since Tottenham Hotspurs have had one, because they've won the Europa Conference League. We haven't won a trophy in 16 years, Mark. Right,
Yeah.
so there is nothing to say that Tottenham are going to win a trophy. So what are the investors investing in? Because they're not investing in the football team. That's obviously because if they were, they'd be looking and thinking, well, you're not winning anything. So why am I investing a lot of money into you?
Yeah. And another thing Daniel's been very clever about is, remember the man that was brought in, I can't remember his name for the life of me, to sort out the naming rights.
Right.
And he basically did absolutely nothing, because we still haven't got naming rights. But Daniel's very clever. When the latest NFL game comes out, and you can play like American football on your PS5 or whatever you got, and suddenly there's a game you can play, an NFL game you can play at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The brand is worldwide now. The audience in America, NFL is massive. And the money coming in from that just to host games at the stadium is crazy. I'm not sure. I haven't researched how much it is, but it's crazy, man.
I went to the NFL. This is where I met Brian Daigle. I went to the NFL protest about 3 years ago, and I met Brian Daigle, and I protested with him. And let me just stop a quick second. I used to thank someone who goes there all the time, and that is Graham. He is a legendary soldier. This man has been a Tottenham season ticket holder since the 60s, and he is legendary. And I proudly picked up the Enoch Out banners and walked up and down the street with him and my brother Brian Daigle and everyone that was there. Like Rez, I was there with them, standing in unison. Yeah, and it was only a few of us, but we stood in unison. Yeah, and we represented us because we said enough is enough. When we asked people, yeah, who went to the NFL, they didn't even know who played in the home stadium. There was no mention of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium whatsoever in any of the brochures or banners leading up to the stadium. All it said is all it said is the stadium. That's all it said. There was no mention of Tottenham Hotspur whatsoever. But when you ask them fans here who plays at the Tottenham ground, none of them knew who the home team was, and that was a sad thing. And what we didn't know is that we were actually in a newspaper in America, for the NFL, where they actually mentioned us on the street that day. And fair play to them because American football, right? They take their licensing seriously, and any form of protest, then they would look to fix up real quick. This is what I'm saying to American fans here. If we can highlight the issues at Tottenham Hotspurs, and put it out there in American football games, we can build up some credibility and some sustainability, because you know that we're trying to get one message out for the people.
Yeah, absolutely, Philly. You're spot on, mate. You're absolutely spot on. Are you trying to get Rich a link, Mark, to him?
Yeah. Are you the richest in the Are you the richest in Tottenham on Tour group?
Is it just Rich on the Tottenham on Tour group, Rich, or are you Rich C on it?
No, well, there's a Rich in the Tottenham on Tour group.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I'm assuming that's him, but I don't know. We're waiting.
I'm not sure either.
We'll wait for a comment.
If he puts,
yeah, that's
I am indeed. Right. I'll send you the link.
To you now, Rich. Just join when you're ready, mate.
Well, I'm a bit crap on computers, so you're gonna have to bear with me.
Yeah.
But to be honest, Mark could do it, and it'd probably be tomorrow.
Yeah, it would be. Or the next day.
I'm only joking, mate. I'm only joking.
See what I have to put up with, Phil.
No, but it's the truth, mate. It's the truth.
It is the truth. It is the truth, mate. Honestly, if you'd have seen us trying to save this background to this tablet thing last night, Phil, I'm not joking. It took us about 45 minutes. Mate, honestly, it was. We got there in the end,
both of you. I love your channel. Well done, mate. I love the way they bring up the different people, and it's my honor and my privilege to be here tonight. So thank you very much for the invitation, mate.
Big up, mate. Thank you for coming on.
I love it.
I think I've sent it to the right Rich.
I love it. I love it when a supporter, or I meet another supporter that's like Mark and like yourself, and you got blue blood running, man.
Yeah. Just keep around the bottom a minute, mate, in case someone pops in the background. But I'm just seeing if there's a Rich C in the Tottenham on Tour group.
No, I think it's just Rich. I just had a quick look on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I sent it to him.
Anyway, we'll see if Rich comes in, because he said he wants to make a few points. Here he is now. Yeah. Here he is.
Bring him on in. Hello, mate.
Hello, Rich.
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, all good, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thanks for letting me come on.
No worries, mate.
Go on, Rich. The floor's yours, mate. You go for it.
All right. Yeah, no worries. Yeah. So basically, I just wanted to make two really quick points. I actually think that one of the first catalysts for change for the whole club is going to be, and it could be a controversial one, but when Sonny's legs do finally go, and I'm not saying it's now, because I do think we're mistreating and misusing him out on the left. He's never a wide man. He's an auxiliary striker playing off a big man's shoulder, linking up.
Yeah.
And if he's used in the right way, I think we could get another good couple of years out of him. But when he does come to his natural end at the club, that stadium is going to be a quarter empty. And that shop is going to be half empty compared to what it is now. That is going to hurt Levy in the pocket. And if his potentially really, really explosive little Korean player that is obviously on loan now at QPR, because we clearly don't think he's good enough and ready. If he doesn't get those cash tills ringing, then that's another blow to the Levy operation. So that's just the first point I wanted to make. The thing is, the atmosphere in the stadium the other day for that game, the second point I wanted to make on the back of that for that Leicester game, which was just horrible.
Shocking, wasn't it?
Yeah, horrible atmosphere from start to finish, really. I mean, the only time there's any noise, as we all know, was when the chants were going. And I mean, I was chanting loud and proud, but the season ticket holders in front of me, as much as I love them, they're my mates. They're on the fences. They're not Enoch outers. They're not Enoch inners. They're not Ange outers. They're not Ange inners. They're impaling themselves on the fence, shall we say? But they looked at me like I was a bit of turd on their shoe when I was doing my leave you out chants and Enoch out chants. So we're still a divided fan base. I mean, and even though the stadium's ringing out like that, you still get looks. So I don't know where we go from here, in all honesty. I actually do think we're going to get relegated. And I'm not even joking. And you people might think, oh, calm down. It's, we've still got a big buffer. No such luck. I can't see when we win our next game.
We're banging trouble, Rich. We are banging trouble. Like we were saying earlier, confidence is low. Tactics are crap. They're never going to change. The system he's trying to play is crap. Fucking 8 people going through the middle of the pitch all the time. It's with inverted fullbacks, and it's just madness. And you're spot on. We can't see where it's going to change. We're watching it, and we can see the same stuff every week. Why is he not doing anything about it, Rich and Philly and Mark? Why is he that inept not to do anything about it?
In my eyes, yes. I don't think he can do anything about it because this is the only way he knows how to play. And I think he's told us that from day one. That's the sadness of it. I think he's told us from day one, he doesn't know any other way of playing. And this is what you're going to get. So, batten down the hatches. The only thing I can say here is I'm hoping that Danny was spot on. And I think hopefully Mark is spot on with what he said earlier. And that is, hopefully, what we have is once we get locked out by Liverpool, because I can't see us beating Liverpool at Anfield, and we're going to be rolling from the Elfsborg game with the same team to the Brentford game with the same team to the Liverpool game with the same team. And remember, Liverpool tonight have rested their players, so they're going to be more fresher than us going into that semi-final, right? So I think once we lose that game, and the window is closed, that's when Levy will sack Ange, and then the next manager comes in. Yes, we might have Graham Mason for a few months, but at least he was make us difficult to beat. Because the way we're open now, we are not difficult to beat. Like I say, because we run around, and it's headless chicken moments, and we're a patches team, right? We die out towards the end of the half, and that allows teams to come through. Because you cannot play that intensity for a 90-minute match. You cannot play that intensity for 45 minutes without having drop-offs. And that drop-off, allows the other teams to come in and attack us, and it's wave after wave after wave. Yeah. Now, I think he's tactically inept. I don't think he can do anything about it because that's his style of football. But when I look at the fact that we need to be difficult to beat, he's not the manager to do that. He won't get a stinky 1-0 draw. He won't look for a stinky 1-0 win. He won't go for the draw because he's all gun-ho. I'm going to win this game. I'm going to win every game. You can't win every game. You're wide open. That's just my point.
Yeah. I was just going to say, like, when we play teams, how many teams have we played and they've had like 20 shots on our goal? It's a regular occurrence. Yeah. It's a regular thing. It
Even
really
Leicester
is.
had 15 the other day, and
there we go. And I'm not being funny. I'm not being disrespectful to Leicester, but they're pants, man. They're absolutely pants.
But Mark, how bad was Hoffenheim? But we considered 22 efforts against them. That's not good.
There we go. It's mystifying. It's mystifying. The manager we need, well, to be honest, with the squad we got the perfect squad now for a Conte. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, he wanted out. I was going to say we got rid of him, but he wanted out.
Well, people might not like this, Mark, what I can say next year, but there is a manager out of work here who make it difficult to beat. But and he knows how to fight relegation battles. But the problem is, people won't want it because that's Sean Dyche. He's the perfect man to come in right now and save you from relegation because he's used to doing it. But you wouldn't have a dodgy system up in here because that's going defensive. But at least he's been in the relegation battle. I don't trust Ange to get us out of a relegation battle. I think that he's going to get closer and closer to that drop zone.
Yeah. Do you think? A manager like Iriola or Frank or Silva would come to us? Would Levy
Not
pay the
mid-season.
money to get them out of their contracts?
I don't think any of them would come mid-season. I mean, you look at Fulham, Bournemouth are flying even with injuries.
Yeah.
Why would they risk their reputation? I mean, I've got a horrible feeling, right? And I don't want to be a jinx, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think that if Arteta doesn't win them something soon, that he could be out. I've just got a nasty feeling Iriola's going to the Gooners.
Oh,
I know. I honestly, I do. I can see him there. I can see him being brilliant there.
Yeah.
And
they bid for Watkins today or something, and they Arsenal or put a bid in or something, a cheeky one, got refused, 60 mil or something. But they'd be mad to let him go mid-season, like you're saying, Rich, aren't they? They're surely going to keep Watkins, aren't they? They need him, didn't they? With the Champions League and that,
Yeah.
But
it's like you said earlier, Matt. How the paths have crossed. Villa were a Championship team not that long ago.
Yeah.
No, it was you, Phil, wasn't it, that said that? It was you, Philly, that said that.
5 years ago, 6 years ago, they were in the Championship, right?
Yeah.
And we were in the Champions League final that year. And look how they've gone from up. They've gone from down there to up there, and we've gone slowly down the other way. And that's just. And you're looking, thinking, in what business world have you ever seen that? But this is the level of ambition Aston Villa have. When they want to buy a player, they'll go out there and they'll just buy that player, like Pau Torres. But what Tottenham do is they'll monitor the situation, they'll drag their feet. It'll become, instead of what was an easy transfer, becomes 2 weeks, becomes 3 weeks, becomes 5 weeks, and so we lose out on the players.
Yeah.
Can I just say as well? I don't think that we are backing this manager. I mean, I do think he's a dead man walking, even if the club are trying to come out with statements of support, and even if Decky's come out, and even Romero's come out previously and trying to support him. I think they probably feel that horrible about the owner and the fact they're tied into these contracts and trapped by this club, that even if they hate Ange's football, which they'd never say, because they're never going to say that, and alien, that just would be, you don't do that to a manager. You stick together because you're playing in a team. But by backing him, they're basically stabbing the knife into Levy, because he's clearly messing the whole club over. So yeah, but you look at the way that Emery's got Villa playing, you can see that the clean lines, and that you could literally get a flipping protractor and compass out, and you can draw a straight line across their defence with how well organised they are. You can see the structure, you can see the spaces between the players. They've got a shape. The players know exactly what they're doing. Our players look mentally frazzled. Do you know what it looks like to me? It looks like they've got shell shock, because they've got PTSD, because they're running around so much. They don't know where they're supposed to be. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing. So not only are they physically exhausted, they're mentally exhausted.
Yeah.
And they're young, so they don't have that level of experience to fall back on, where they think, well, he's there, so I need to go over there. They still need coaching.
Yeah.
And the manager has never done it. He's never been a coach, has he? He's been an overseer who just sort of...
Delegator, I'll call him, Rich.
Yeah, delegator. But, he comes out with some right contradictions as well. So he's like a master manipulator. And it's almost like Levy's met his match in a manager form, but also he's using him now as a big shield, a big Australian shield, who comes out with all this stuff. And again, it's his divide and conquer mentality, where it's blocking the real conversation about the board, because we're so divided about this Australian manager, and people are saying, well, some are saying, which I don't agree with, oh, he's Australian and he's a PE teacher. Look, he's done more in football than I've ever done and ever could do, but the point is, at this level, this is the top league in world football. You've got the elite managers, elite players. He's not up to it.
No.
End of story, Rich.
Yeah.
Well, end of story.
Well, let's not get it wrong. He's obviously a qualified manager, coach, whatever you want to call him. Yeah,
Before he
exactly.
he was managing for 20 years. That's why I never liked the analogy with him and Arteta, because Arteta, when he came into Arsenal, had never managed in his life. So to mix him up here with Andrew, had been managing for 20 years here, was wrong. And another thing here, it doesn't matter where he's from in the world, it doesn't change his ability as a manager. Now, I'm going to say this for Andrew, right? The Scottish League and the Premier League are two different animals. You could do that in Scotland, You could have 2-8s in Scotland. But if you play with 2-8s in England, you're wide open. If you play with 2-8s in Italy, you're wide open. If you play 2-8s in Spain, you're wide open. If you play 2-8s in Germany, you're wide open. If you play 2-8s in France, you're wide open. Because these leagues are superior to the Scottish League by a long, long way. You always need to cover your defence. But when you look at Tottenham, the way we go forward, right, every man goes forward. There are so many gaps at the back. And when you're playing, and this is a system that's not even on FIFA or Football Manager, and that's 2-0-8, which is what Tottenham play, right? Then you're asking for trouble. When you look how Liverpool got in there, amount of times Liverpool got in on our back line, and you see the two of them, Archie Gray, and Dragoshin on the halfway line getting spun for fun, by Diaz, by Salah. And believe me, Salah, for the first opportunity Salah had, he was licking his lips because he knew what time it was and what day it was, and my man turned up that day, right? When you look at the amount of chances they had, they could have scored 8, and no one could have said nothing, because the way they should have taken advantage, they scored 6 that day, right? And please don't start me on the 5-1, singing 5-1. That's gross. But when you're getting beaten by 6 and you're not changing the way that you play, you're asking for trouble, because at no point did Ange say to himself, you know what, I'm getting beaten by 4. Let me drop back and take the sting out of the game. Let's just find a way that we don't get humiliated. Let me sit back and just... No, my man kept going like the Duracell bunny. Attack. And that's exactly what Liverpool did. And that's exactly what they're going to do in the semi-final. The first leg of the semi-final that we played, Liverpool did...
No,
sorry,
carry on,
I'm
mate.
going to say
No, carry on.
The first semi-final we had, right, Liverpool didn't play the full intensity. That you could see that they weren't trying. They were trying it, but they were playing in moderation. This time when they play at Anfield, you're going to see a whole different animal this time. And I think Liverpool are going to hurt us real bad. I think it could be 5 or 6, and that's not an exaggeration. I'm looking at 5 or 6 for Liverpool in the next leg.
I've already said I think there'll be sort of 2-3 up at halftime. And then that'll be enough. That they won't go for the kill and really punish us, but they'll just control the game in the second half. And because, to be honest, the Carabao Cup, Liverpool got bigger fish to fry than a Carabao Cup.
They won it last year, but they have pride, Mark, and I think they've won the trophy the most out of all the other clubs. I think Liverpool, or it's Aston Villa or Liverpool, but I think it's Liverpool have won it the most, and they won it last year. So as defending champions here, they're going to want to defend that trophy because they've had it already. And when Pep won it the first time, he won it 4 times in a row with Man City. That was the start of their run, as becoming champions. Because the first trophy, breaks your duck, and it becomes easier once you win the first trophy to win more. Because you know what levels you have to reach here to be successful. And that's what I see when I look at Liverpool. This is the first trophy for Slot to go for. So if Slot could win that and win that trophy, right, then the momentum from that trophy will carry them on to winning the league.
Yeah, that's a fair point, actually. Yeah,
it's a very fair point. Phil.
Yeah.
Does he go there against? Just a quick question: does he go there against Liverpool? Will he try and be pragmatic like he was in the first leg, or is he just going to think, do you know what, we'll go the same way, see if I can nick a couple of goals early?
I think he'll go for it. I can see this manager just saying, you know what, right. It's not. I think Liverpool will score a first goal, and then we'll get to see what happens afterwards. But I think once Liverpool score the first goal, they'll just continue scoring.
That's a fair comment, Rich. What are you thinking?
I wonder if he's gonna. We've all seen the footage on the Spurs YouTube channel of Mickey van der Ven back in training.
Yeah.
It scares the life out of me.
Yeah, me too.
Is he gonna sort of give him a few minutes, in tomorrow's match, or is he gonna chuck him in for a bit against It's Brentford away we've got, isn't it, in the league
Brentford,
next? Yeah. Is he going to chuck him in a bit for that? Give him some minutes? Is he then going to fling Romero and Van der Ven again? And, you know, he's got nothing to lose, has he, as a manager, apart from Mickey's hamstrings and Romero taking someone's head off because he's so fed up with the club. He might just go, do you know what? I'm going to gamble on this. Stick them both back in.
Yeah.
And you know what? The worst thing that could happen would be if there's a controversial VAR decision or something like that. A Liverpool player gets sent. We scrape our way to the final. And this is me, right? You know, the last proper trophy I think we won. I mean, for me anyway, I don't diminish the Carling Cup, whatever you want to call it, Carabao, was when I was there in the stadium at Wembley in 1991 when Mabsy lifted that trophy. That was the last time I think we won a proper trophy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying I want to lose. I never want my club to lose.
No, of course we don't.
But if there's one result I don't want us to fluke, would be the Liverpool result, because it keeps this manager in for longer, and I'm worried about getting relegated.
Yeah. Me too, mate.
Well, if you saw the thumbnail for the show tonight, it was the 70-70 team that got relegated.
Yeah.
Well, lucky that was 2 years before I was born, but
we don't remember it vividly, but I think Mark was 6 and I was 8.
Yeah.
And I was going, my dad was taking me then. You know what I mean? And it was like, it weren't good.
No.
And luckily they bounced back, to win the FA Cup 4 years later. But
a typical Spurs thing to do, when we did go down to the second division, as it was back then, we didn't come back as champions, did we?
No.
I think we fluked. Did we draw the last one at Southampton or something that put us up?
I don't know. I know
we beat
Bristol Rovers 9-0.
Well, obviously, I know we beat Bristol Rovers because that's local to me.
I remember being behind the goal.
Colin Lee.
When Colin Lee banged his head in for his fourth one. Yeah, man, I was there, Philly. I was there, mate. It's great, isn't it? Just to come up with these little memories of so many years ago. Do you know what I mean? I'm 57 this year, and I'm going back to when I was a baby watching this stuff. I was just a little baby. But certain things you remember, they never leave you.
I thought it was.
Oh, what?
Jazzy Too Jazzy is just confirmed it. Yeah, we went out with a point at Southampton on the last day of the season. And we went up in second or whatever it was. We only just went back in.
Yeah. Well,
and then in the summer of that year, after we've been promoted, Ozzy and Ricky arrived.
That's right.
From Argentina.
That's it, 78, yeah.
And that really was the start of because let's face it, back then, if the club brought in a foreign player, he was from Ireland. You know, that was considered a foreign player. It was nowhere near like it is now, and they come in from, all over the world. A foreign player would have been that they had to get on a boat to come from Ireland.
During the Falklands War as well. The Falklands was going on. I mean, and
that was 82.
So but they were still around, weren't they? And so
Well, Ozzy didn't Ozzy go to PSG or something on loan, and Ricky went back to Argentina. I'm pretty sure that Ozzy went out on a loan while the war was on, but as the war was just about to start, both of them, Ozzy and Ricky, was getting dogs abuse from the crowd.
Yeah.
Dogs abuse. Yeah, I can remember that. I'm pretty certain Ozzy went to France or something. He went on loan somewhere just while the war was on.
PSG?
He could have been PSG.
He's got what's his name, isn't he? He's like Pochettino in that they've got a connection to PSG. I'm sure it's PSG.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, it could have been. It does ring a bell.
PSG on loan. He definitely went on loan while the Falklands was on.
Excellent. Excellent. Right. So just 10 minutes. Feelings on Elfsborg tomorrow night.
Well, Matt, I don't want to cut, but Mr. Sava put a message in and said he might be on.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good.
It was in, because
I ain't turning Savard down. Keep talking, lads. Keep talking.
Yeah.
I only had 2 points.
Yeah,
I've run out of air to think what to say about this club at the minute.
Let's talk about let's just change the subject a bit. Let's talk about Elfsborg tomorrow. What are you expecting between you tomorrow? Because I know they've been on there. I don't know if it's their winter break, so they're going to be fresh. We know I think they've beat Roma. Did they? And beat was it Alkmaar or Karabag, one or the other? They're not as crap as what everyone thinks. So where do you think we stand with it? Because I think we should win. We should win.
It's home.
Yeah, we're at home, aren't we?
Yeah.
What are you thinking, lads?
Win every home game.
Well, Rich, you can go first because I've got something to say on this one.
Yeah. I'll make it very short and sweet. No idea. I've given up predicting the games, particularly European games. I mean, will they be trying to save something in their legs for the Mind at the weekend with a really vital away game? We sort of have to win this so we don't get that horrible those horrible extra matches to play.
Yeah.
But no, I've no idea about tomorrow. I just don't know.
Like you say, we need to win it really just to, we've got one more game after that, but we probably need 4 points, don't we? To scrape through into the top 8, I would imagine. Top 9, whatever it is.
No, we're already in the top 8, aren't we? From last week.
Yeah, I mean to qualify though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, to nail it.
Yeah, to nail it with any other results that are going any other way,
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be 2-2, personally.
The problem with this
I predicted 1-1 against Leicester, Phil.
I
thought it'd be a draw. I didn't see us getting beat, but then I think that was just home advantage, telling me that we won't.
This game, mate, is that we're going to come into this game tired, and Elfsborg, their season is just beginning over there. The Swedish league is just beginning over there, so they're going to come into this game fresh, and we are going to come into this game tired. Now that's going to play big time on as the game continues here. As we head towards the 90 minutes here, that's going to take its toll on the match itself. So I can see us dropping off. It depends on how many goals we score before the fatigue starts kicking in. That's what it is for me. Now I fully expect Spurs to lose. I fully expect Spurs to win this match. If you lose this match, right, Ange has to go on the spot because Elfsborg, right, really and truly, the league, the gap in difference between the English league and the Premier League is not even the Premier League and the Swedish league is a long distance. I'm sure the Swedish league is not as I think it's better than the SBL is better than the Swedish league. That's for me anyway.
Right.
I'm not sure which one is higher, but I'm sure the Swedish league is down there. It's not a very good league. There's a few good teams here, like you've got IFK Gothenburg, and you've got Djurgården, where we just bought Bergvall from. But there is not that many good teams in that league, And I'm looking at that league, and I'm looking at the fact that they're coming in fresh. I think that could easily be a draw, or it should be a Spurs win. But I still, it could easily be a draw as well, depending on fatigue and depending on if Spurs put their chances away. And I would play Lancashire in this match.
He's got to.
Well. You have to play him in this. I'm just sure if the pitcher is injured again. I think he is. So yeah, it has to be Lancashire. We might as well put a petition together, make 3 Lancashire right now, and hopefully he can play.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain Richie's out again.
Yeah, he is. He's done his groin or something, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the only player. He probably did that getting out of bed, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I said earlier, your best ability is availability, and he's just never available. It's mystifying. It really is mystifying. But who knows? I agree with Rich. Who knows with Tottenham? I mean, you never know.
Lancashire, right? Can I just make a quick point about Lancashire while we mentioned him?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, I got looked at like I was speaking out of turn, because you can't speak at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium now. You can't shout, you can't do anything because everyone's sat there, with their posh pizza or whatever it is, or their posh pie. And I was screaming at him, going, "Ange, get Lancashire on. This is like on 70 odd minutes, right?
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
fart-arsing about, stood there with his hands in his pockets, you know, just doing absolutely nothing, all flaccid on the sidelines. I'm thinking, act, do something now. And I'll be honest, before this season, I can count him out on one hand how many times I've walked out before the game's finished. On about 86 minutes, I'd seen enough. I walked. He'd not brought Lancashire on at that point. Apparently, he did bring him on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
94th minute.
But what's
No,
Lancashire done to him? Like, it's the same with Maddison. You know, since that game, I know he got sent, and I know he scored that goal in his debut. And he probably, obviously, we don't see him in training. There's all that, and he's the manager, blah-de-blah. But Lancashire, he's a sharp shooter. He can finish. He's a target man. You need a goal. You know, you've got Porro there. You've got who can deliver. Why would you not put someone who's a target when you need to actually get something out of a game? What is the reason for not bringing him on? I just don't understand. There's not even one good reason to not bring him on.
Yeah, but Rich, don't you think that's a bit? Don't you think that's a bit out of order in the fact that it's supposed to be? It was advertised as a youth project, right? So why not just throw him on? When he actually played at Galatasaray, right? He actually scored in Istanbul, which is so you know you can handle the pressure in Istanbul. Yes, he got sent off, but he's a learning curve and he's a young player, right? So, but at least he scored in that match, right?
Yeah.
But so you might as well throw him on with half an hour to go. You never know what he could have done in that game. But instead, yeah, to throw him on with 2 minutes to go, gave him no opportunity whatsoever to showcase any of his skills. He's lucky he even touched the ball in them 2 minutes, to be fair with you.
Yeah.
So there was nothing he could do in those 2 minutes. It was absolutely out of order that he only had 2 minutes. But this is another reason why Ange has to go for me, because he's not going to blood the youngsters. Right, now, Mark, this is where I'm going to go nuclear here. I don't want to
Carry on, mate.
I don't want to see Ben Davies in a Spurs shirt. There is nothing I'm going to see from Ben Davies here this year or next year that I haven't seen in the last 10 years already. I've seen it all from Ben Davies. I don't want to see him there. I'd rather see Dorrington there. I'd rather see Phillips there. I'd rather see a man from any boy from the academy there than Ben Davies. I've seen enough for 10 years. I don't want to see Ben Davies no more. I don't want to. Dragushin is not the type of defender to be playing in an Ange system there, because he's slow turner than he's the turn slower than the Titanic, right? He's not a good defender. He's not a good defender to play in a high system. He's a good old school defender who could marshal the defense, but he was no way looking to be running back from the halfway line, because you would need to see him doing that, yeah. And if you watch the Belgium game, like I watched it, right, and I watched De Bruyne take him to the cleaners, and I watched Lukaku take him to the cleaners, and God knows they're not fast strikers, but they took him to the cleaners, yeah. You don't want to be playing on the halfway line. But Ange has got some kind of stick broken in his ear. You don't hear them to play the players there. So when they get turned over, yeah, and we concede goals, yeah, I'm not surprised, because you play the players in the wrong position, and you play them there to showcase their weaknesses rather than any of their strengths, and that for a manager, yeah, is not good enough for me. That's why I want Ange gone, because that means, yeah, right, is that you're forcing these players to play a system that you know is not good for them. You know it points out all their weaknesses. You know that it's not good to do that, and you've been doing it for 15 months. Because if you take the form for the last 50, after the first 10 games of last season, yeah, and you add them to the games that we had towards the end of the season, we would have been 14th. So this season, yeah, if you take that form, right, and you look at it now, I'm not surprised that Tottenham were 15th to the relegation zone, because we didn't have the surprise of the first 10 games where teams had to work us out and figure us out. So this is exactly where I expect Spurs to be, really and truly, if you look at the form going from after the first 10 games of last season. Because we actually tanked last season. And if it wasn't for the fact that the first 10 games happened, Chelsea would have caught us last season. Newcastle would have caught us last season. And that's what a lot of fans didn't see.
Yeah, I agree with you, Philly.
Yeah,
You know,
but I will try and defend Davis a little bit here, because I've always rated him. But he's not world class. But he's your 7 out of 10 player every week. He never moans. He never complains. You don't see him in the papers, "Oh, they're not playing me." Blah, 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 blah. But he he's never a 9, but he's never a 4. You know, he's like 7 out of 10 player every
He's
time
never
he
broken to
plays.
the first team. He's never broken to the first team, and this is the sadness of it. He's never
Yeah.
been a first team regular. So you would have
No.
thought in those 10 years here that David. All right, this is another one I dislike here. I disliked it badly. Right, you've been here 10 years. You've never broken to the first team. Not once have you ever said, you know what? Let me move from Tottenham Hotspur and let me go to a team here where I can actually get into that team and play week in, week out, and actually showcase my desire to actually do something in football. He doesn't have that ambition in him. You'd rather sit down on the bench here week in, week out, and not get onto the pitch. That's not good enough for me. I want players coming into Tottenham here who are hungry and want to win something. I don't want to see people coming in there, sitting on the bench and thinking, you know what, I'll just sit on the bench here and I'm happy to pick up my paycheck. I don't want to see that level. That's disgusting. You want to come to Tottenham here. You want to come and win something. You want to come and make a mark. That's what I want you to do. Don't come here to say, I'm going to come sit on the bench and do nothing. That's not good enough for me.
Well, that's fair point, mate. That is fair point. I really got no comeback on that. But
well, I can see both sides. I mean, in the Italian league, they have a lot of players who are certainly defenders who stick around for a lot longer. And you've got like your old school, like your Baraces and people like that who play into their late 30s, and it's all about experience and positioning. And
them players like Baracia were first team players, were first team regulars. They weren't sitting on the bench, mate.
Yeah, exactly. And also, you know, but going back to the point about how Ange signed Dragusin, for example, and he has actually come out and said, these are all my signings, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm not listening to Ange anymore because he talk absolute nonsense. But anyway, he's come out and said that. It's clear that we're not recruiting specifically for this bonkers system. We're recruiting for Tottenham Hotspur for what we see as good opportunities. And it's clear that there is no communication between Lang and Ange, if I can get my words out, with the two names that are quite similar. Flange, Ange, Lang. And then you've got the Olympic organizer extraordinaire, Mr. Munn, who has never had anything to do with football in his life, but suddenly he's been parachuted in to take the heat off Levy because he organised the cracking Olympic Games apparently. So yeah, let's bring him to Tottenham Hotspur and make him the football director. Cracking idea. So the whole thing's a shambles. I mean, you're recruiting for, you got players who are perfect for Conte, and he obviously had his complete meltdown and personal stuff took over and he had to go and he didn't want to be here. Fine. I liked Conte. It could have worked if we'd have backed him and if we'd have looked after him and nurtured him at a difficult personal time for him. But he never wanted to stay. So that I don't blame Levy for that. He wasn't, but he's backed the wrong man in Ange. He spent a lot of money. And he spent a lot of money to cut the wage bill on all these youngsters, to plump up the books, to make it look like we've got these young, exciting players. And some of them are exciting. They are, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But is he angling to sell the club and look like we've got all these assets on the books? And I'm not a money man. I'm no sort of economic guru. But the trouble is the communication from the club is so passive aggressive and toxic, and it's like a mixture of formal 1 minute and we shall this and that and the other, and there's a very corporate announcement 1 minute, very posh, almost like saying, don't get involved, fans, don't challenge us. The next minute they've got a stupid quirky video of, you know, Archie Gray and Son cuddling each other on the floor training and they're playing a stupid game or whatever. And then they're over communicating with the fans, and then they're backing Ange, and you're hearing all the different reports. Everything's contradicting each other. You're never getting a clear message of what the direction of the club is. And it's like a pantomime. It's so disorganized. And then you've got the people controlling what happens in the stadium with, as soon as there's a sign of a protest, there's a balloon. Oh my God, a balloon.
Yeah.
Is it a grenade or is it a balloon? Everything's so controlled and micromanaged. And that comes from Levy. He's clearly a very paranoid, egotistical man, isn't he?
It's the oppression. It's see the way that they turn up the music. Oppression is not good because you're stopping the people here from having a voice. That turns volatile. If you keep oppressing people, that turns volatile. Because what they do at the end of the game is, instead of listening to the fans and letting the fans voice their opinion, what they do is they hoist the music up here so that the fans get drowned out. And that's not good enough. because you've paid your hard-earned money to go watch that match here. The least you can have here is a voice. And they don't give you a voice. They just put the music up here and drown you out. And that's not good enough for me, because that is a step on your civil liberty and a step on your First Amendment right. Because you've got freedom of speech, man. And I'm not paying money here to sit there and I can't have a say. That's not good enough, man.
Yeah.
Well said,
Yeah.
mate. Well said. Welcome, Dan. Welcome, mate. Hope you're all right.
Welcome, Mark, Philly.
Yeah.
Sheen, how are you, man? Nice to meet you.
You're all right. You're all right. Nice to meet you, mate.
Yeah. Just popping on for a little bit because I'm supposed to be working, but I thought I'd come on and say hello. Say how you doing? How you guys are doing?
Big up.
Yeah, we're doing all right. We're having the usual merry-go-round chat, Dan, that we've been having for weeks.
Where are we at the moment?
And months, and we're talking about Levy, we're talking about Ange, lack of, I don't know, investment in the football club, if you like, in the right way. Just the shit show that it is, Dan. Really, just the shit show that it is.
It is. Did you guys see that Simon Jordan and that financial bloke on Talk Sport today?
No, I didn't. No, enlighten us, Dan, if you know anything.
Well, I'm not too hot on this, but what I was hearing is that they've got money to spend. You know the FFP. There's plenty of money there to spend. They're just choosing not to.
Mm-hmm.
But
and the thing as well, they just don't pay the wages for the top players today, and it's a long-standing issue with the club. I thought it was quite an interesting. It's like an 8-minute video short you can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah,
just about the financial side. I've never really got my head around it all, but it was interesting, the viewing. If you guys check it out after.
What was Jordan's opinion of it, Dan?
Oh, he doesn't believe it. He was kind of arguing with the financial guy, because he used to manage a club with the owner. So there was a figure of around 200 million, and Jordan was kind of saying, "No, I don't think that's a true figure. 200 million, and this 200 million loss over 3 years." And it's quite hard to understand unless you're into that financial world. But what it sounds like is that there's definitely money at the club, and they're choosing not to spend it.
the thing is, like, Tottenham have never been skint.
No.
Never ever. We've always had money.
Yeah.
We've always had money to spend.
Yeah, we've always had money.
Oh,
it just like I say,
zero as well.
Not
Has zero as well.
Hello, Az. You all right, mate?
You're right, Has.
Yeah. We're just talking about Levy and lack of investment into the team properly. Has, what's your thoughts on it?
I think it's more to do with because if you look at like the amount we spend in general, we actually are quite high in spending in terms of like the amount. For me, it's more the transfer policy because like we'll spend, for example, 40 on Gray, 20 on Odegaard instead of like 60 on one player, like a Neto, just for example. Because a lot of people who are like for Levy will say, well, we do spend the amounts. But the problem always is for me is the actual policy. But we've had the same transfer policy for 20 years. Like we've had this since 2005. This whole data-driven thing, I think, was just like a narrative to push the fact that things have changed, which they haven't. So, yeah, it's just a mess. And I think if Ange stays, I agree with Rich. I think we will get relegated. I just don't see where the next win's going to come from. And bearing in mind, we have got Ipswich away in a few weeks, which is basically a 6-pointer at this point. United, well, I don't know what United will get, but yeah, so I just think it's quite bleak, to be honest. But I do think in not sacking Ange, he's kind of risking, obviously we say we'll get relegated, right? I don't know, but I think they're not giving him money because I don't think he'll last like after this season. Like I think they'll sack him at the end of the season, regardless of what happens. But also they're kind of risking losing money. So they must have some sort of like belief that Ange, even if he's this bad, has enough to win these like 2 or 3 games or something, keep us up. Like maybe that's the risk they're going to take. I don't know. But the way it's going, that's what it seems like to me. Like they're taking a massive risk, like to say, oh, okay, we'll keep Ange. We won't give him money, we won't give him one player. But it'll be like a long-term player, like obviously the keeper got in Kinski, who any manager will come in and probably use him. So, you know, he's taking a massive risk. I think they're taking a massive risk in terms of our Premier League safety, really, I think.
Yeah.
It's a massive risk, guys, isn't it? Like, seriously, like we were talking on the show last night. Like, where is the next Premiership win coming from? I can't see it. This
No.
is serious. Even we get Van der Ven back, the team is shot, the confidence is gone. We're not playing well at all. We can't beat anyone. And the holes in our defence and how we're defensively set up, we saw against Leicester. It was shocking. But that's what it's been like all season, to be honest. And a lot of people were saying, look, you know, it's the injuries. We were playing poorly even before the injuries. Let's be real here. Crystal Palace.
Sorry, Dan. Mark, knock me out a minute because I've got a couple of things to do and let Sava on, man, because he can't get on otherwise.
All right, man.
All right, I'll just.
See you later, Mark.
Evening, Sav.
Evening, Sava.
Thanks for coming on, mate.
Yeah,
that's
so
all right. Just finished a hectic stream. Just
Champions League night.
Jesus Christ! I don't know how Jeff Stelling did it. It was absolutely crazy.
Where was I? Yeah, just we were playing poorly before the injuries. Ipswich, Palace, Brighton. You know, the injuries it's bad, of course, but we've been like this all season. Let's be honest. Beginning of the season, we won 2 games in a row. I think it was against Man United and Brentford. But since then, now we can't even get a win. So, look, it's really, really bad. And I just don't think Levy... Is he being complacent, Levy, with this? Well, maybe he is.
Yeah, but who knows? Who knows? But
Dan, sorry, Mark.
No,
Dan,
you carry on, mate.
Do you not see the Leicester game? Do you not think it was a repeat of the Hoffenheim game where Hoffenheim kept coming in waves in the midfield and they just kept coming and coming and coming? And at no point does Ancelotti to say, you know what, let me put a little plaster over that and stop them from attacking us. We'll just sit back here and take the sting out of the game. Not once in his head do you think any of that? That is horrendous as a manager. You can't see something's going wrong and say, you know what, I'm just gonna let it keep going. That is highly ignorant. I'm sorry, it is. And I can't give him problems, man. I don't want you as a manager if you can't see there's something that you have to fix up and you're going to keep playing that way. And you haven't learned from any of the games that you've lost. You haven't learned from any of it. You just continue playing the same way. That's just out of order, man.
Can I say, you know what strikes me? That I can't imagine that he does any kind of video analysis at all of shape. You know, you listen to players when they talk about working under Conte, and all they do is shape, to the point where he was obviously putting the under-21s as like mannequins on the pitch, and it was really winding them up and really winding Tottenham up because obviously they want their young players to progress and train themselves and not just be stood there like a load of cones on the pitch. But the point I'm trying to make is, Ange is the antithesis of that. We all know that. And so why is someone not stepping in and saying, okay, we can't sack him because of the PR element now and it's egg on Levy's face, but can we not at the very least try and bypass him? At the very least just say, look, let's just find one way of sitting, organised, looking at the spaces between the players so that if we are in deep, absolute, I won't use swear on the channel, but
you do what you like,
I was
mate.
going to say,
You do what you like.
In a game, right? And the players are clearly exhausted. They're out on their feet. Let's just have one go-to plan where we've done some proper video analysis. And these coaches are, you know, they're not exactly revered coaches around the world, are they? They're up-and-coming coaches. I mean, I know Wellesley's got a good reputation. Ryan Mason, we know Ryan Mason has been sort of very much like beans on toast at Tottenham for quite a few years now, you know, tied to mummy's apron string. So what I'm trying to say is, if they're going to keep him, surely someone could just come in and give him a bit of video analysis help and get the spaces between the players sorted for just one other alternative formation when we're defending and making the spaces between the players more compact. But there's none of that. It's chaos still.
I heard, I don't know if it was Savo said it or Stel, that this coach is trying to tell him stuff and he's just ignoring it. I don't know who it was who said it, like who on stream said it, but it seems relevant, to be honest. Like, he doesn't seem to know any other way of playing football. That's what it seems like to me, anyway.
I agree. No, I agree. I agree exactly what you just said there. He has no other way of playing football. And like I said, plan B is just more plan A. That's exactly what you just said there.
I don't see, like, I know people will point to City away or like City at home and some other throw off games where we look like we're playing a different way. But if you look at his Liverpool post-match Liverpool interview, he said something like, "Oh, Ange, did you do something different or something because you whatever?" And he said, "No, these are the three midfielders I had, and they were just more reserve type midfielders or something, like as in less attacking. So we just end up, I don't know, playing slightly different, I guess. But it wasn't like planned to say, it wasn't by design. But that's based on his own words, not us gauging like a random thing. Like he literally kind of said it.
Yeah, he did say that, and it's because the way Liverpool attacked us, it's the same with Man. So if you're using that principle, I would use the same principle against Man City. Is that the fact that Man City were more the aggressors is why that it looked differently on the TV. He's changed his tactics, but really and truly he hasn't. It's just that Man City have just come onto us, and this is the same with Liverpool. But what I looked at the first leg here is that I looked at Liverpool. They didn't exert that much energy. They it's like they were happy to just go with a 1-0 defeat because they knew what was going to happen at Anfield. That's how it felt to me. It's like you're setting them up for a fall. So the Tottenham fans here are now on top of the world. Yeah, we've won the first leg, but when you go to Anfield, it's going to be a different story, and I think Liverpool are going to unleash, and that's the worry for me.
I mean, they did rest 3 of their back 4 against us. People tend to forget that. And he did rest one of the front 3, and he put, I think, Jones as the 10. Like, he did rest like 4, 5, something like that, players. People seem to think we beat like their full first team, but it's not really true. Like, we may have rested 1 or 2 players ourselves, but I think Gray played that game at right back or something. Something like that. Yeah. But really, they kind of like rested some players and they were happy to grind out a 0-0. Because even when they had the ball, I agree with you, Phil. Like, they were taking their time. They were just kind of just see out. It's fine. And even if you watch Slot on the touchline, he was like telling them to calm down. Like their plan was to go there 0-0. Really, I mean, we were kind of lucky to score, but it's not like the end of the world for them. And I think I agree with you. We'll take them to Anfield and they'll probably just destroy us.
I've already said earlier on the show, I think Liverpool will be 2-3-0 up at half time. In the second half, they'll just control the game. Just see it out. Because that's what top teams do. You know, they're not like us that's going to run about for a million miles an hour for 120 minutes, 110 minutes, whatever. You know, it's not happening. Liverpool will batter us at Anfield. Especially, you got to think we've only won there, 3 times, 4 times?
2011 was the last, wasn't it? Was it
we won there 3 or 4 times since the Titanic was sailing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's craziness.
I didn't realize it was that bad.
No, well, I can remember we beat them. We beat them at Anfield in 80-something. And the headline in the paper, the Sunday paper, was Titanic Tottenham. Because that's the first time we'd beaten them there since Titanic was sailing.
Wow.
You know, and it was like 70-odd years, or it was some crazy stat that we hadn't gone to Anfield and won. Oh, here we go. The answers come in. There we go. 98. I was right, wasn't I? Dazzy.
My word. Oh, man.
Guys, there's literally nothing positive to say about the club right now at all. Nothing positive. No shining light. I can't see us when we get our next win. Transfer window. There's some links today. What did I hear? Is it
Wissa?
Wissa?
There we go.
Don't believe any of it. Why would they come to us?
Amen.
So there's just nothing.
Well, Dan, have you seen?
Did you guys watch Ashmatic's stream last night at all?
No.
Spurs game, because he was talking about Eltel, whatever Eltel or something. It's like they plucked it from his stream. It was like, oh yeah, Spurs are linked with him now. I don't know, it just seemed quite irrelevant.
Yeah, if Mattel had any sense, he wouldn't come to Tottenham.
He ain't coming to Tottenham.
He's not coming here. And the other one, was Wissa. Why would you go to Tottenham when Nottingham Forest are in for you? You wouldn't do that. Nottingham Forest are in 3rd place, and and then it's going for third place here, and then there's going for a relegation battle. There is no way I'm going to Tottenham over Nottingham Forest. So that's a no-go for me. And I don't see Tottenham paying £70 million or whatever money they have, or that Nottingham Forest are looking for what Brentford are looking for Wissa. I can't see it.
Well, Romano said tonight, hasn't he, that I'll read you exactly what Romano said about Tell. By the way, I mean, but I just want to put it out there that if we don't get Tell, we don't get Tell. He's another teenager with absolutely zero experience that doesn't actually fix any of the problems at Tottenham Hotspur. I keep seeing we're going in for these forward players, but for me, the issue, everyone knows me by now, right? Everyone knows the issue is these tactics, right? You can bring in Tell, and I've got nothing against him. He looks like a young, exciting player. He'll grab some goals. He doesn't stop us playing the high line. He doesn't stop us having a non-existent midfield. He doesn't stop our fullbacks playing inverted. So, for me, you could go and bring in Mo Salah. Great. You'll score more goals. You're still going to be wide open and look absolutely shit at the back. But this is what Romano said about an hour ago. He said more on the Tell situation. Also, a permanent move is being assessed. Chelsea, that's the moment I realised Spurs weren't getting him. Chelsea remain in talks since the beginning of January, pushing for a permanent transfer. Tottenham also keen on Tell based on fee requested, which means Levy wants it cheap. And Man United have also asked for loan conditions. Look, I feel like this will be another one. If we get him in on loan, what does it do? Like, what does that change? Again, it's bringing in kids. He's a talented kid, but this is a kid that's got 12 goals in his career, right? He's 19. He's not played a lot of football because he doesn't get in the Bayern Munich team, right? And we're all going, oh my God, Matthias Tell. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm so bored by it all, if that makes sense, that what we'll do is we'll have fans that will make this signing if we get him on loan. We'll make this signing sound like it's the greatest signing the club have ever made. Oh my God, look, we went and got one of Bayern Munich's best players. I just think that this club should have been doing everything it can to go and buy a defensive midfielder, a workhorse in midfield as well, and actually try and be a little bit more solid and hard to beat. When I say a little bit more solid, I mean a lot more solid.
Yeah.
I just don't know what this does, guys. I see we're in for Evan Ferguson. Like, why? What is it? What does that change in the way we play? I don't think enough people understand how shit this manager's tactics are. We're all living. Sorry, I'm venting. I've had 2 hours of not talking about Tottenham, and it's just kind of wound me up. We've got a fan base that has kind of deluded itself. Not everyone, but deluded itself to think that it's purely injuries, and all of those grown-up adults haven't had the foresight to actually look at how shit we were before the injuries. We're literally now putting all our hopes on the fact that it is the injuries. Forget that we had the worst start to a Premier League season after 12 or 13 games in 17, 18 years. We forget that. Forget that some of you were in a WhatsApp group with me last night, right? I think, Philly, you were in it. I think, Dan, you must be in it. When people are going, oh, yeah, but look at the number of games Van der Ven and Romero play. We went through the games Van der Ven and Romero play. They lose loads of games when those two play together. But we've made it out like when they're back, we're suddenly not going to lose games of football. Telling you now, we will, because of the tactics. So,
we had that this time last year. We had this narrative this time last year. If you go back in the DeLorean year, go back to last year, you'll hear it, the same argument. Oh, when Van der Ven and Romero return, when Maddison returns, we're gonna start winning. But guess what? We lost to Liverpool with them mans in the team. We lost to was it West Ham and Brentford with them players in the team as well? We lost games with those players in the team. Those don't confuse yourself. These tactics here left us wide open. The Arsenal game last year, they stopped playing. Let's just be real here. Arsenal stopped playing. Liverpool stopped playing last year at Anfield when we went there. That was how bad it was. They said, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. Because we could actually get a cricket score against you. The amount of chances they had, they should have scored more.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
I think they're not gonna. I think he's gone definitely at the end of the season, Ange. To be honest, based on the kind of signs we're making, because if we're buying youngsters, I don't think they're going to give him any more money in terms of senior player signing. Let's say, I'll be surprised. And I think this Visa talk, it's garbage. I think it's garbage. I think it's nonsense.
How much will they want? Let's be fair. If anyone from Spurs has approached Vissa, an agent, and Vissa's agent said, yeah, he's interested, they'll ask the question, what do you think Brentford want in this window? Brentford are going to ask for, 60?
I heard 70. Or
70?
80 or something. Yeah.
Do we all think Daniel Levy's going to go?
No.
Go on then. Go on.
But I'm saying...
Allegedly, we got no money.
He's risking our Premier League safety keeping Ange. I think he's just taking the risk, and then he's saying, "Look, he'll have enough to keep us up. He'll win 3 or 4 games and will keep us up." There's no guarantee that will happen. I just think they're going to leave it to the end of the season and then get rid of him. That's what I think.
It's like Russian roulette, though, isn't it? We might, we're going to get relegated if we leave this man in charge. We actually are.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Guys, what do people foresee happening now in the next month or two? I know we haven't got a crystal ball, but honestly, what do you think is going to happen in the next 2 months? Has anyone got any predictions?
I can see us surviving only because, and I say this luckily, there are 3 worse teams. Because
what he said.
Southampton are gone. We all know that. Southampton are probably one of the worst Premier League teams ever. I'm not sure if stats
they are the worst.
They are the worst. Okay, they are the worst then.
Statistically.
I believe. Well, I got to worry for Wolves, to be honest, because it's going to be sort of out of.
It's Ipswich who worry me.
Leicester, Ipswich, Wolves. I mean, Southampton's gone, so you only got 2 spots, and it's going to be Leicester, Ipswich, Wolves. I think Everton will crawl away out of it.
They'll be above us to win a game in hand anyway.
Yeah.
The problem I see, is that those teams still have to play Tottenham Hotspurs. You still got to go to Portman Road and get a result at Portman Road. Now, Portman Road they're going to make it hard. They're going to make it nasty. The fans are going to be like a 13th man The fans are going to be like the 12th man there, right? And they're going to make it very difficult to beat. Now, I've seen this Tottenham team crack here from high positions, like against Chelsea and against Brighton, where you've been up here and you've cracked. Now, this is going to be a hostile environment when you go to Portman Road. They're going to make it difficult to beat you. They're going to try and pick you off, and this is what's going to happen. So the way that Ange plays here, I can see Ipswich getting a result against us again at Portman Road, especially with their home advantage. Now that would drag you into the mix here, because that's another 3 points taken away from whatever advantage Tottenham have right now. Now then you add into the fact that I still think you got to play Wolves as well. Now they
Wolves away, yeah.
So they could easily get a result against Tottenham, and the fact that we're going to come into that match here, like I said before, and Sam don't like me saying this, the squad is stretched to its limits here, and he don't change the players that we have anyway, right? We're going to come into them games tired. Right. Well, them players are going to be fit because they're only playing 1 game a week. That's going to take its toll on the squad as well. So really and truly, them points that we have there could easily be eroded away if we lose those games against those worst teams. And we have already lost those games. We already lost games against those worst teams already, because we lost to Ipswich at home and we drew with Wolves.
We lost to Wolves. I mean, the Wolves did the double over last season, I think.
Yeah, we drew with Wolves 1-1.
Yeah.
So the question is, will Ipswich and Wolves or Leicester win more games than us for the rest of the season. Obviously, we've got a 7, 8 point gap. Are they going to win more games than us? Plus,
Well, they need to win 3 to overtake us, don't they?
Yeah. So if you look at the fixtures and look at our fixtures, it's who can get them the most wins.
Is Ange our manager? That's the question as well. I mean, after Liverpool and after Villa, if he's our manager, I think there's probably 20% chance they could.
Do you think, Rich, he's going to be gone after those cup games?
Well, I think we're going to definitely lose Liverpool one. The Villa one, they're quite stretched and they're going to be tired Champions League wise. Anything can happen in a game, can't it? Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. I think he's gone.
Sava, do you think he's gone after the cup games?
I feel like I've been talking about this for a year and he's still here. Like,
No,
I just feel like every week. Yeah, but is it? Because depending on who you speak to, you've got fans that say, well, listen, Levy's waiting to see what happens with Liverpool because we're one game away from a final. You've got other people that are saying, well, apparently Levy's going to wait and see what happens in the Carabao Cup because let's be honest, the Europa League, Levy doesn't give a shit about the Carabao Cup. Yeah, he does not care, right? He's never given a shit, has he? He's never cared.
No.
I've got this horrible fit. Like, I want this manager gone so much. Like so much. And every week I think this has got to be it. And not. It's got to be it. They're not, and he's still here. And do you know what? I've never seen such a backwards fan base in all my life. The worse the manager does, the more he's loved. I genuinely feel like we're in a really weird alternate reality where doing shit makes you better. And for me, I've said this for ages, these injuries, we're all cursing them. These injuries have saved him. These injuries are warping people's minds as to how shit he was before the injuries and actually giving this manager life. Any other manager of any other football club doesn't survive what he survived in this last year. But I will say, when you're in a relegation battle, right, when people are wondering why good players won't come to us in transfer windows, just remember, half this fan base wanted to be 15th. They wanted to keep this manager. They condone this losing. For me, I say December, I'm being polite. For me, last December. But for me, December this year, he should have gone and you go, right, we've got to stop this rot. We've got to bring someone in that can coach. And you go into the transfer window with a brand new manager with new ideas that can pick up some bargains and for his style of play. We haven't done any of that. We haven't. We've gone into this transfer window with football players looking at Tottenham going, why am I going to join there? I'll be staggered if Tell picks us over Chelsea or Man United. Like, why would you? Why would you?
Yeah, I agree.
To be honest, as well.
Can anyone give me one reason why Tell would choose Spurs over, like one logical reason Tell would pick Spurs over those two?
Yeah, well, to be honest as well, it's an absolute disgrace that with that short of numbers, that we bought in a goalie that we didn't even need, a goalkeeper that wasn't really required, and no outfield players whatsoever. I mean,
they only signed Kinski because Vicario went down, Foster went down. If you watch Ange's presser after Kinski signed, it kind of implied to me that they fast tracked him because of the injuries. That's the only reason he came in early. Like, they didn't have any intention to bring him in January, but because we had so many keepers that were out, they had to bring him in. Because obviously you can't play without a goalkeeper, really, can you?
Well, Ange would. Can
I ask this question at the bottom here? This one here. We have home games against Southampton, Brighton, Palace, and Forest. Right. So we lost against Brighton in the first leg, and that was at the Amex. We lost against Palace at Selhurst Park. We lost against Nottingham Forest at Nottingham Forest. So you're telling me that all three of those teams here that we've lost to already are coming to Waha Lane and we're going to get 3 points. Get out of here, man. Don't talk rubbish, bro.
Only game I see us winning is Southampton, to be honest.
Do you think, guys, can I ask you all a question? And I do need to go in 5 minutes, Mark, because my wife honestly.
No, that's fine, Sam. We appreciate you dragging all your viewers over to us.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome.
Please like and sub. Please like and
Please
sub.
do subscribe to these guys. Please do. Do you guys think, like how we're all in WhatsApp groups, different WhatsApp groups?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's like a WhatsApp group with 19 Premier League managers and they've all left out Ange? And then they all say each week, whose turn is it this week? Guys, here's how I did it. Here's what to... Because it just feels like every team comes to Tottenham. And I heard you guys just before I came on saying it's like a carbon copy. Every game, Spurs start really quick. We score a goal and half our fan base go, Ange out as in the mud. Then slowly but surely, those teams creep back into a game. And there must be a WhatsApp group where people are going, here's the blueprint. Obviously, I'm joking about the WhatsApp group, but there is a blueprint on how to beat Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham. And
the Wolves manager said that last year. The Wolves manager said that last year.
O'Neill went on Sky Sports.
Yeah.
Sit in, don't have to do too much, and then wait for Spurs to give the ball away as they're trying to attack and you counter them. And Pedro Porro, right? I've got no problem with Pedro Porro, by the way. I reckon on training grounds, his name must be used by every manager up and down the country more than anyone else. And I'll tell you why. I reckon every manager has gone, right, lads, Tottenham this weekend. You see that Pedro Porro? He's going to never, ever be at right back. He's never going to be there. So, Cliver of Bournemouth, if you're playing on the left, this game's all about you, right? So-and-so of Alanga or Hudson-Odoi of Forest, you're up. I truly believe this is what teams do because every game, and I'm not blaming Porro, guys. Hopefully you see that. I'm not blaming Porro, but he is so out of position for where right back should be because of these tactics that if you're a winger, you're thinking, I cannot wait to get in behind Tottenham. I cannot wait. And how did both their goals come at the weekend? They won the ball twice down Porro's side. One was played in behind him, whipped in. One was nicked off him, played into the midfield. No one defending. It has got to be the easiest job in world football preparing for a game against Tottenham. That's a real sad indictment of how shit this manager is.
Tamworth had a field day with Porro. Tamworth, who are what is it? Working man. These men here.
They're semi-pros, bro. They're not even professional.
It was Super Mario playing for them. One of them was a plumber, dude. That's Super Mario level there. My man had a field day against Porro, bro. Let's not be real here, bro.
Yoshi turned up.
Can I just say my hometown club went to Tamworth and drew 0-0, and we had a player sent off.
Got more mental strength than Tottenham, then I guess.
Well, there we go.
But that didn't even ring bells. That didn't ring alarm bells for people. Some people it rang alarm bells for. There was a load of people afterwards going, all that matters is the win. No. Tamworth, remember in the last 30 seconds of the game, right?
They should have won.
They had that chance.
When they had that shot and we're all sitting there thinking we're about to get the biggest amount of banter by Paddy Power, whoever, like every fan base in the world.
Memes.
And then people are using that. They're going, we're going well in all three cups. Hang on. Are we? Are we going well in all three cups? We've not beaten anyone decent we've played in the Europa League so far. We've played two decent teams, lost to one, which was a battering. Like Galatasaray pulled our pants down. Yeah. We should have lost to Roma, in my opinion. Rangers, I thought we were absolutely disgusting. We've beaten some really crap teams we've played, right? And we've scraped past Tamworth. So what people are actually saying is we've done well in the Carabao Cup. That's what they mean. When they say all three cups we're going well in. I mean,
so do you think then that what will break the camel's back for the people who are still Ange, which unfortunately is, I think we're a minority, yeah?
Ego is a wonderful thing, Has.
Do you think that if we got knocked out the cups, do you think that's when they'll turn?
There'll be another excuse. They've got their ready-made excuse.
Injuries.
Injuries every week. Like when we battered Man City with injuries, no one was mentioning injuries. Right? When we beat Liverpool 1-0, no one mentioned injuries. Right? So it shows that these players are capable. Right? But then when you lose week in week after week after week, and you got that. Listen, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to jump off because I'm going to get aggy. I know what I'm like. I'm like a child who's not had his bottle. Right? This idiot Kulusevski needs to shut up. Right?
What did he say today, Sava? What did he say? I haven't read
He
it.
lost Ange. He wasn't playing for Ange. That's what he said.
Like, he's like, we played. Did he say we played really pretty football, whatever it was? And then he came out with the examples of we played pretty football against Man U and Man City. That's how we want to play. Okay, but what about the 8 defeats in the last 10, Kulu? Like, can we talk about that pretty football? And then when he's saying we're playing every week with 10, 11 fit players every 3 games every week. Well, hang on, it's not been 3 games every week. And second of all, right, we haven't only got those players. What you mean is Ange will only play those players. We've talked about this enough. All season he could have rotated Porro with Spence, never did. All season he could have rotated Udogie with Reggie or Spence, never did. Before they got injured, he could have rotated Van de Ven and Romero with Dragusin, never did. He could have played Archie Gray multiple times in central midfield, never did. Right? He could have played X, Y, Z. Lancashire never ever gets a game. He comes on in the 94th minute when you're losing home to Leicester. So for me, I'm not buying into this injury excuse. Yes, injuries aren't good, but when you've got that many, at what stage do you have to look and go, why? At what stage do we have to stop going, oh, poor Ange. Oh, Ange, you all right? And go, mate, you're killing the... Anyway, I'm going to go. Much love.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you very much, mate.
See you later.
Yeah.
Sava, thank you for coming on, mate, and bringing all your lovely viewers over to us.
Some
Thank
of my
you very
viewers
much,
love me. Some of them hate me and just follow me because it's good fun.
Do your thing beforehand, innit? Before you leave here, shout out your initiative, brother, of linking the YouTubers up, innit?
We have mentioned it, but
yeah, I know, but it's better from Sava, innit? Because he
Of
sent
course.
out the SOS, bro.
All right, Philly. I really wanted to stay for another 5 minutes. Cheers, mate. Yeah, look, I mean, I think everyone's seen the video now. Look, I don't have all the answers. I don't, but my theory was simple. I keep seeing a lot of people talk about they want to do something. I keep seeing a lot of YouTubers now that are changing their opinion on Levy and Enoch. And by the way, I'm all for it. I'm a let's open our arms and welcome them in kind of guy. I'm not a hang on, you've said this for years, go away. You don't no. Welcome them in. That's what you want to do. If you ask people to come to your village and help you build, let them into the village and help you build rather than shutting the doors and keeping them out, right? So I've just said, look, I put a video out and it was asking for some of the bigger YouTubers. Nothing against, I'm not a big YouTuber. I mean, I'm asking for big YouTubers, right? That have a massive reach to let's talk, let's chat, let's see what we can do so that the message we're putting out in a sustained, formatted way to all of our channels is the same thing. That the dates that everyone's planning on protesting, that all of the banners, that all of the message across social media, Sky Sports, BT, that we're all on the same page, right? And once we get some of these people messaging, let's see what we can do. I haven't had anyone. Sorry, when I'm saying anyone, I know all of you lot are with me. I don't mean that. I don't mean I haven't had the people who I know are already involved. I mean, of all the people that talk a great game, these are the ones that I need somebody to message me and go, yeah, do you know what, Sav? Great incentive. What do we need to do? And then we can start talking. But at the moment, I haven't had anyone, but it's going to take time. And my message would be, sorry for going on, my message would be, everyone's emailing me, like viewers, and everyone's messaging Brian, and everyone's asking in shows what's happening, what's being decided. This is not a 1-2 day thing. This is going to take a lot of time, a lot of planning. And even then, we don't know if we can get it off the ground. But people are going, oh, protest this week, and you're like, whoa, like that. It's not going to work that quick. So look, leave it with me. I'm trying to speak to people like Ricky Sachs. Trying to, me and Brian are trying to do a few little things, trying to get everyone involved. But people, what I will say, my last thing, I promise, and then I will shut up and leave you lot to it. I keep seeing that there's a lot of people already very negative about it in chat rooms. People that are going, that will never work because this bloke does this woman does this YouTuber's an idiot. And I think the moment you've done that, you're going against everything that we're trying to do. Right? Stop trying to call people out. Yeah. Try and get them in, try and get them inside. And the way Brian or whoever sums it up is when people turn up late to a party, you don't turn around and go, oh, you're late. You go, God, thanks, get in, make it busier. So we'll see, but there are certain people that are really not helping. Certain people really, really not helping. So I am going to go. Thanks, Philly, for making me stay for 5 more minutes.
Well, you know me, brother. You know me already. It's a marathon and not a sprint, so there it is.
Yeah.
We've had them 24 years. If it takes a few more months and planning and stuff, it's not the end of the world. Much love. Rich C, first time we've ever streamed
nice
together.
to meet you.
Big up to you, man. You've got cool hair. I really like your hair. I'm jealous of that.
To be fair, mate.
Philly, you've got good hair as well, brother. Right, listen, take care, everyone. See you later. Much love. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Slabbert. Thank you.
I'm going to jump too, guys. It's been honestly a real pleasure coming on. And yeah, so hope I didn't speak too much out of turn. Just take care.
No worries, mate. No worries. Always welcome on here, mate. Always welcome.
Good stuff. See you later. Comedy Spurs. Bye.
Thank you.
Can I just say something about the Levy out thing? That for me, the biggest issue I see, I know I'm sort of contradicting. It's nothing to do with Salah as an issue. Nothing to do with that. It's more the fact that some of these fans who was suddenly just like switched, and I saw Stel talking about this the other day, saying he's skeptical, and I think he's kind of right to be skeptical. Is when we get good again, let's say we've got theoretically back into the top 4 in like 2 years. I'm talking theoretically speaking, by the way. If we might play in Championship football next season, but I'm just talking theoretically, right? Say we get into the Champions League again, under like a new manager, like Thomas Frank, or even this Iriola, for example, or whoever else, something like that. Will people have the same energy that they have now for this Levy out thing? Because that, for me, that's the issue. Because I remember years and years ago, I was in a massive minority being Levy out, especially on X before YouTube blew up, basically, right? And I was one of those few people who was leaving Levy out, like vocally under Poch, which a lot of people might say that's the peak of Levy's tenure, let's say. I don't know, just being out there. And I was saying, the Nkudu, Janssen, Paul Lopez window was an absolute embarrassment. I got pelters for it on Twitter, by the way, for that. Because people, even though there may have been people who were like skeptical of Levy, they still said, look, we finished second that season afterwards behind Chelsea. So they didn't have the same sort of energy. Now, because we're like on the brink, let's say, everyone's starting to turn. What I'm saying is, say we save ourselves, and like I said, we're back in Europe in like 2-3 years in the Champions League. Will people still have the same energy? We have another window like that when we make the Champions League as we have now, as people have now.
I agree with you. Sorry, Mark. Again,
no,
I'm sorry.
Mate.
You understand what I'm trying to say? If it's a bit unclear.
What I was going to say, Has, here is I agree with you, and I agree with Stelios, and I agree with Iggy as well. I share your skepticism and your pessimism. I share it, brother. I would love to think here that the people would be like me. Yeah, whether Spurs win, lose, or draw. Yeah, I'm consistent with the same message. I'm leaving out. I can't sit there, yeah, and watch this team watch the owners do the bare minimum, yeah, when we have the financial power to actually compete, yeah, with the likes of Arsenal and that. You don't even try. And for me, yeah, right, I share your pessimism whether the people have the same energy where Spurs start winning. But if I don't try as a Spurs fan, brother, because you remember the mantra of the club here itself is that there is to do. Now, if I don't try, brother, then I can't say, then you'll never know if it works or not. So I have to give the people the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully this time around, yeah, the people actually mean it and actually stand by what they actually say. And if they don't, yeah, then Stelios and Iggy and you or anyone else has the right to rip into anybody else, because this is their moment. This is the fans' moment to step up and to become one. And if they actually genuinely want it, you put the BS behind you that you have with other people. And I know it's difficult because I've been called out and I've been abused on Twitter and X and all kind of manner of things from my point of views. But they're mine at the end of the day. But the best thing, but if you can stick together and if you can become unison, that is more power than you can ever have before. And this is what the people have to do. You have to unite and you have to be one. Because together, yeah, we can make a general difference. And that's just what we need. And now, like I said, I share your pessimism, Hash. I do. But if I don't give them an opportunity, brother, then...
No, I will. I'm just saying, I just want the same energy. Say if we suddenly turn it around in 3 weeks.
No, right. Can I say, I'm as much Levy out as all of us are here. And I am. I want him gone. But as I said earlier on the show, when he's built this business to what it's got now, I'm sorry to say, in my opinion, this is only my opinion, he's not going anywhere. But if we can get on him as a fan base, so he puts the football first and doesn't hoard the money in some vast vault that he's got underneath the stadium somewhere, and actually treats us like a football club that should be challenging for things, especially with the game-changing stadium that's basically a license to print money, right? I'm sorry to say, but he's not going anywhere. He isn't. Not when he's built the Goliath that is now Tottenham. And it's not just the football team, it's what goes on every day, I'm presuming, at the stadium. You know what I mean? The racing, the NFL, the boxing, the Rolling Stones are coming. You know, Adele's meant to be going there. You know, it's craziness. The business of Tottenham now. You know, I mean, he's not going. It's like if you take a business from the bottom rung, and he's sort of 3/4 of the way up the ladder now, and he's got them few little. He'd be foolish. To be honest, this is only my opinion. He'd be foolish to sell it now, because that stadium is a license to print money. It really is. And so, but if I'm all in favour of the protests, and I will be at least one of them. Right? But if we can just get him to change and put the football team first, that is, I think that is as much as we can hope for.
I think Terry's misunderstanding what I mean. What I'm saying is, if this is a turning point, we won't even really know, like in say maybe a couple months, or maybe longer. That's what I'm trying to say. Terry, I think this is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, and that's what people have to understand. This could take years. This could. Are you in for the long haul? That's what I say to people now. Yeah, if you're gonna get into this, you're gonna have to do it for the long haul. This doesn't be answered in 5 minutes. This could take 5 years or 10 years. Are you prepared to go through that as fans? Because we have to make his job untenable, and that is the only way to unseat him, is to make him feel untenable. To make him feel the pressure, because he's never felt any pressure like this before. He has to feel pressure, because when he felt pressure before, that's when he sat Conte, the first Levy, out in the stadium. And when he felt pressure before, right, as Stelios says all the time, his wife touched his leg. So now you're going to have to make it completed pressure to make his job untenable and make him have to fix up. You have to unite and make that job feel like that he doesn't even want to get up in the morning to do that kind of job. That's the level that he has to be.
Right. Let me just bring Mark in again. Mark, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I just jumped off just because I knew Savile was coming on. So.
That's what I'm trying to say. I hope what I said didn't come out wrong, basically.
No. Well, to be honest, because we'll let you into the audience will let you into a little secret, because me and Mark are too tight to pay for StreamYard. We can only have 6 on the screen. That's why Mark dropped off, because we were full.
I'm a good lad, and I am a good lad.
Yeah, we were full to the brim.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna have to leave Southampton's dinner
Yeah.
before I.
I know,
So I'll
Philly,
see you guys later.
Philly, before
Hello,
you go,
Philly.
man, I just want to say,
Top fella.
I'll see what you put on when we're in the chats. You're a top geezer, mate. Absolutely top bloke. You're welcome on here anytime, mate. Absolutely
Thank you very
anytime.
much.
You're a
Thank you
top
very
man.
much. I love all of you guys there. Has I love you. You know
Big
I
up,
love
Philly,
you
big
so
up,
much,
Philly.
bro. Big up Dan Analysis and big up both of you, Marks. The privilege and honor was mine to be on the show tonight. So thank you very much.
Always welcome, brother.
All of you guys.
Always
Thanks,
welcome,
Philly.
brother.
You take care, mate. We'll be in touch,
Thank
mate.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right now,
Excellent.
mate, is it time?
It's time, yeah, unfortunately, lads.
Is it time for the outro, mate? Are we going to get this right today?
It's close,
Oh,
yeah.
all right.
I just want to say before you do, Haz, thanks very much for coming on again. You're more than
No, it's
welcome
great. Thanks for
anytime,
having me
mate.
on.
to
Mark
have you
comes
say.
on mine all the time, so
Yeah, I do. I just he always puts a link in the chat, so I just
Dan,
jump on.
Dan, you know what I think of you, mate. You're a ledge,
Yeah.
absolute legend. Anyone who comes on here is welcome anytime. You know all that, and we'll get chatting as soon, Dan. We've had a little chat between us, and we'll carry on doing that. But yeah, at the end of the day, all I can say is it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from him.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Make
go.
sure to
Thank you
like and
very much.
subscribe to everyone.
Everyone.
Goodbye.
Big up.
The 2 Marks Show don't need a dressing.